type shit.
Stop playing with me, Dre.
DJ K.
Come on, I'm doing shit. Fuck all that young shit. I'm cool with shit, type shit, activities. I'm doing shit. Fuck all that young shit. I'm cool with shit, type shit, activities. Posted up on the island with a bitch. They call me cause I ain't on that dumb shit. Yeah, I'm rich, but act broke with a bitch. Duval day, I really do it for the kids. Getting checks, never gotta work a job. No Viagra, dick still get hard. I can make your auntie swipe a credit card. OG in the game, realest that you ever. Aunties get down on the floor. Show these poor ass hoes how it go. Back it up like Freak Week 94. Is she under 24? It's a no. Come on, I'm doing shit. Fuck all that young shit. I'm cool with shit, type shit, activities. I'm doing shit. Fuck all that young shit. I'm cool with shit, type shit.
If you want to support, hit up my Cash App at $UncBeStreaming. Any donation will be greatly appreciated. Thanks in advance.
What's up, nieces and nephews? Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and please share.
Shout out to all my people checking me out on Rumble. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and please share. Show some love, y'all.
To super chat or donate, hit the Ko-fi link pinned to the top of the chat. Any support would be appreciated.
Give a nigga a break. Give a nigga a break. How much more can I take? Give a nigga a break.
What's good, nieces and nephews? Welcome back to UncBeStreaming Insomniac Theater. Shout out to all my night owls, team No Sleep. We back at it again on the weekend. Salute to all the nocturnal ones, the vampires, the night shift workers, the truck drivers, and people like me who just team no sleep for whatever reasons and various reasons. We up, baby. And since we up, we gonna talk some shit, have some fun, maybe even learn something. Who fucking knows? It is what it is. As you see, lately I've been covering this survival stuff, post-apocalyptic stuff, zombie stuff, all the kinds of stuff of that nature. That's what I've been messing with, because I find it entertaining, interesting, and also it might fucking save your life, right? You never fucking know. Again, it can be the economy collapse, World War III, solar flare, EMP, whatever reason it might be, the infrastructure is not as solid as we might think. We saw with the C-19 how things went. It don't take long for the grocery stores to get empty. It don't take long for people to go into panic mode. It don't take long for people to start thinking about, my people gotta eat, so I will take from you and your people to feed my people.
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up.
As humans, myself included, we have gotten very comfortable. We have gotten very soft. We lost a lot of core skills. And we got to learn those hard skills back. And that's what we do over here. I was in the military for 15 years. I've always been a person that's one with nature. And I utilize the skills that I have, the things that I do, the things that I learn. We watched some content creators that I researched and found the perfect videos to cover different topics. And then I add my input from my experience, and we put that together to enhance our chances of surviving when the shit hits, if the shit hits. And like I said, I like to do the zombie aspect just because it's one of the most fun and entertaining post-apocalyptic things to talk about. I'm not sure if it's the one we want, but it doesn't matter because be it zombie apocalypse, be it the economy collapsing, be it World War III, just a fall of the infrastructure, be it solar flare, be it EMP, be it a deadly virus, whatever, C19 times 3, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it might be, the skills that you're gonna need, be it zombie apocalypse or economic downfall, you still gotta have the same skills. Because you're a human, you're still gonna have the same needs to survive. You're still gonna have to eat, you're still gonna have to drink clean water, and all that stuff. When the infrastructure crumble, we know none of that shit's going to exist. It's just simply not. And so far I covered a video on like all the different ways to start a fire, because you're not always gonna have lighters, you're not always gonna have matches. Lighters run out, matches run out. So fire is life. Fire helps you purify water. Fire helps you cook your food. Speaking of purifying water, go check out one of my other past videos. We talked a lot about different ways you can do it. The number one go-to way is, of course, boiling the water. But to boil the water, you're gonna need fire. That's why we did the video on all the different ways to make fires first. And we laying all this shit down together because we're making it make sense, just like a course. That's why I said zombie crash course in the fucking title. I like to say zombie, but again, but it's any kind of survival post-apocalyptic situation. Any situation where you can't count on this modern shit that we so accustomed to. Because again, there are countries to this day in 2026 that don't have a lot of the things that we take for granted. You know what I'm saying? It won't take much to set us back. For real. So we covered like different ways to purify water. The last video, go check that one out whenever you get a chance. We talked about all the several different shelters you can create in the wilderness, because you know you got water, you got fire, but you might have to go out, you might be outside, you might have to relocate, you might want to leave the city. When shit get rough and motherfuckers out here living like the Book of Eli, you might not want to be around people, so you might want to go out into the outskirts, right? You out there, but you don't want to sleep under the stars. And that's why the last video talked about all the different basic shelters you can make. All the different basic shelters you can just make in the woods, so you can lay up under something, so you can have some cover and some protection from the elements. And then we got into, you know, like I said, you got to eat. But everybody want, I got a gun, you got a gun, you got a gun. I know you got a gun, but the thing about guns is that there are only so many bullets. And the gun store not going to be open for you to buy bullets when bullets run out. So we got into using things like slingshots that you can use anything as a bullet. Of course, they come with the little metal civil pellets and shit, but once they run out, you can use all kinds of rocks and stuff. Now, a slingshot will hurt a human, knock them out, depends on how close they are, but they also really good for killing and hunting small game. And the best thing about the slingshot is that they're silent. And in situations like this, you don't want to draw attention to yourself. So that was last time video. And during that video, we watched, you know, this is just a recap of different ways to make your own slingshot. But again, all that's in the past video. Now let's move forward to where we are now. As you see in the title, it says preparing small game, how to use a bow. And of course, the zombie crash course, we're going to get in that shit on the back end. At first, I like to teach, you know, we talk about some hard skills. So, slingshots are dope. Slingshots are cool. You should have one on a standby. But let's get into the bow. When it comes to weapons and stuff, again, the bow and arrow is very quiet. And it's quiet and it's deadly. And that's a good combination. Also, a good part is you can pull out the arrow and reuse it again. Long as it's not damaged, you can use it again. Once you shoot a bullet, you can't use that bullet again. And once you shoot that bullet, you're letting everybody and everything know the general area where you're located. And that's not a good look either, right? But just like we watched a slingshot video and the guy was like, you got to practice a lot to get good at this. It's the same way with a bow and arrow. And the crossbow was also mentioned, which I think is a really cool weapon because it's the same thing with the bow and arrow. You can use the crossbow quarrels, the crossbow rounds, whatever you want to call it, repeatedly. Once you just got to pull it out the target and reuse it, long as it's not damaged. When it comes to slingshot or crossbow for hunting, or a slingshot or arrow, the arrow in the bow and arrow in the slingshot honestly might be, no, it's not even honestly, definitely more effective, definitely more dangerous, definitely more deadly. But the pro that the slingshot has is that anything can be a round. Good, a nice smooth rock you can walk around with a pocket full of rocks and take out small game, small targets. In the video we watched last time, the dude was shooting squirrels, he was shooting quail, he's shooting birds, shooting pigeons, whatever. None of that stuff sounds like shit we want to eat right now. But when the shit hit, if the shit hits, you just ain't gonna be able to go to Walmart and get you a pack of chicken. You're going to have to hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. But before you can do that, you're going to have to get familiar with these weapons per se. So in the last video, we watched a guy, really great instructor, showed us how to use the slingshot. Go back and check it out. Also follow his channel when you check it out because he's a really good instructor. Today, though, we're going to focus on the bow and arrow. And I'm not going to lie, this is a weapon that I've always been fascinated with. I'm not even gonna lie. Archery has always fascinated me. I always thought it was the coolest shit ever.
So this is a key element. To start with, use a
I almost bought one many times in my life. But I never did. One of these days I will. So we're gonna watch a couple short videos. We gotta see which one's the best one. Just some guys giving us some basic tips. Because again, the things I show you here, it's nice for introduction, but we all know to get proficient in them, you're going to have to do it. You're gonna have to get the muscle memory, and you're gonna have to do the leg work. But you start, like with anything, with a solid knowledge base of fundamental understanding of how something works. And that's what we're going to do today. So let's check out this video real quick. We're going to watch a couple videos and see how familiar we can get with this bow and arrow. And we might do the crossbow too, because I like to connect those two together because they're very similar, and for the most part. And after we figure out, get a solid understanding of that, okay, because we know how to make fire from the other videos. We know how to purify water. We know how to build shelter. Now we hungry, right? We hungry. We done did all that stuff. Now we hungry. So we got to hunt something. So to hunt something, we're going to need some kind of way to take out the animal. So that's why we did the slingshot last video. And now we on the bow and arrow because we got to fucking eat, right? But once we catch the food, what are we going to do with it? Because we live in a world now where humans things that cavemen used to be able to do. We supposed to be so smart and so high tech. See, the thing about technology and advancements, they're outstanding. I mean, look at me, I'm streaming right now. I'm in my house, y'all in y'all house, we watching each other. Technology is dope, but technology has also made us soft. As we got more sophisticated, we got soft. We used to getting the clean water out our sink. We used to having AC and central heating. We used to getting food out the grocery store, going to fast food spots. We used to a lot of things that are very comfortable, but things that can easily be taken away from us. And if and when that does happen, a lot of us are screwed and fucked and don't even know where to start. So that's what we doing over here. We getting back to, I ain't saying we all got to become super survivor man, but I think in this day and age, we really need to get a basic fundamental understanding and some real-time practice with a core set of basic skills. And like I said, that's purifying water, that's starting fires, that's building shelter, that's hunting small game, and things of that nature. And that's what these late night shows are not about. And of course, we're gonna have some fun and talk shit, whatever, and get into some zombie shit and all that. But okay, let's get to this bow and arrow though, because yo, we gotta learn how to shoot this shit, man. Listen, I'm hungry right now, and I want some squirrel.
Hey, what's up? My name is Russell Johnson. I'm the manager over here at Gotham Archery Manhattan. I'm going to be showing you the correct way to shoot an arrow. Start with your arrow. Arrow has a little space in between. Clip that right onto the bowstring. You want to put it underneath this brass knocking point and pop it on. Once it's there, one finger above your arrow and two below. Bring your arms up together. Now you're going to drive your hand back all the way till you hit here. All the way back, stretch, release.
How do you know when you pulled it back far enough?
You reach something called an anchor point in archery.
So if y'all didn't hear the question, the guy asks, how do you know if you put it back far enough?
How do you know when you pulled it back far enough?
You reach something called an anchor point in archery. An anchor point in archery is a specific place to have consistency. An arrow is a straight line. So from here, if I pull really low, I'll shoot high. If I pull really high, I'll shoot low. You want to be in a straight position across. So you always want to have consistency and pull to the same place every single time. Then your form should group together. Your arrows should go all into the same spot. Common mistakes. A lot of people are way too tense. Their shoulders are right into their neck. They're not comfortable at all. You want to be nice and relaxed and confident with what you're doing. So it's a smooth draw back, all the way back to come down. When you release, nice and still, then you can break.
So as you see, that video was short and sweet, right? Not enough detail, right? We need a little more than that. We don't know what we're doing. We not fucking Robin Hood. So we're gonna get into a video that might, I hope, break it down a little more detailed. Because we don't want to be out there with the bow and arrow. We done shot ourselves in the foot. We done shot a homie right in the knee. We missing everything, scaring off all the animals. So yeah, we don't know what the fuck we doing. So little fast videos like that is not gonna work. Cause we hungry. Like I said, we done purified some water, we done made a fire, we done built some shelter, and we out there and we trying to make it. The system, the grid done went down. Walmart is closed. Kroger's is closed. But you know what? We still got to eat. If we done ran out of bullets, don't got no bullets, or we don't want to use a gun because it's going to let everybody know right where the fuck we at. And whatever we shot with the gun, they're going to want to come get it too. And maybe take our gun and take our bullets. You laying low. The world is in chaos. Noise control is key. And that's where the bow and arrow come into place. But first, we gotta learn how to use this motherfucker. So I like, okay, so far this video looks good. He's breaking it down in parts. He got a part 1 stance. So, and that first video is on like a minute or something. This video is 12 minutes. So clearly, we about to get some more detailed instructions.
So the first area of good technique is obviously your stance and your posture. You'll see this when you see an archer walking onto the shooting line at an international finals match, and you'll see them step onto the line, take their stance, and then start their shot. So this is a key element. To start with, use a square stance. It's much easier, much simpler, and it's much more straightforward to get everything else correct and keep your posture. And over time, if you continue with your archery and want to develop more, then you can start using different stances and experiment exactly what works for you. But start with a square stance and keep it simple. Now this square stance is basically, you just have your feet square along the shooting line, equidistant from the shooting line, and this is the square stance. So this is a great starting point and is a simple way to get started and get the rest of your shot correct. The set position is the second part of the shot, and you'll see this when an archer starts to lift the bow and begin their shooting process. So you'll see them attach basically the two hands. Their right hand, if they're right-handed, would be the draw hand around the string, and their left hand would be the bow hand. This is for a right-handed archer. So very simply put, you have these 2 points of contact and you want to make them secure and you want to get the correct technique for the rest of your shot. So what you do at this point is you simply have the bow very roughly in the right place. You have the bow on the leg, you have it very roughly in the right place, and then you simply put your fingers on the string and then come up to your set position. String position should be, the string should be in the first joint of all 3 fingers as a good starting point. So you simply put the string in the first joint of all 3 fingers like that. And you can see that that's a good starting point and allows you to get your hook nice and firm. Now a key thing with the set position, and this is something you should do right from the get-go, is to make sure not to close yourself down. What I mean by this is a very common mistake is that the set position, archers will effectively try and just simply push the bow out with the left arm and pull it with the hand like this. And what this means is the hand is very close to the body and it's closed down. You can see this.
I wonder how much like strength it take to pull a good bow back, you know? I know, because I know they got definitely ones with different tension, and I think the harder, the more powerful it is, the harder it is to pull back. I'm saying I wonder how much strength it takes to pull a bow back. Like, I know they got different tension, but I think the harder it is to pull back, the more powerful and the farther it's gonna go when you release the arrow. But I would think some of the good ones take a little force. And I'm saying that because, you know, I don't want y'all to think y'all gonna be like, what's that guy off Lord of the Rings, Legolas or whatever, the elf. You ain't gonna be, you know, shooting arrows like him or some shit. What's going on, Rhonda?
From this angle, this is a super common mistake, very closed down, and they'll try and lift up and draw like that. So
That's a super common thing right from the get-go in your lesson. Make sure to keep this side as straight as you can and not kink the wrist. Focus on that at the set position. This will help you massively. So make sure at the set position, when you come up, don't kink the hand. Make sure it's nice and straight here through the arm and the hand, and then keep that as you then lift up. So this is a key point where you can really make some gains in your first lesson and get your technique correct from the start. Another thing you'll see is when the archer opens the bow, you want to make sure to keep that wrist angle again. So when you lift the bow, don't focus on using your hand and moving the string to the face. This is what most beginners focus on, and this is actually what a lot of beginner archery lessons teach, is just to move the string to the face, because it's very easy to reference this. But think about moving the hand to the neck. So not the string to the face. The string to the face causes what I was talking about earlier. String to the face causes this, and it causes really bad wrist angle and then a bad anchor as well, which I'll talk about later. Focus on the hand to the neck is much better. So what you can actually feel to get this is the thumb against the inside of the neck here. So you can come in and feel the thumb here, because when you then come and draw the bow, this is the point that you'll see in, you know, most international competitions or in films. You'll see the archer at full draw. In recurve Olympic archery, you want the hand alongside the neck, under the chin, and flush with the face and the body, basically. So focus on the thumb against the neck and you'll get the hand in a nice position. You don't want the hand floating up against the chin here. You don't want it back here. You want to make sure that the hand is against the neck and the string is also on the face, as we said. But by thinking about the hand against the neck, this will make you much better right from the start and will improve the chances you'll get a good anchor position. So the most obvious part of the technique for a recurve archer when you watch the Olympics or you watch films is the release. And this is obviously when the string leaves the hands, the arrow leaves the bow, and then the arrow goes to the target. Or in the case of films, probably some unlucky person downrange. But if you make sure you get the release correct to start with, then it's much easier to get it correct in the long term as well. So at a typical beginner's lesson, you might come up to, you know, your anchor, and then someone might say, release the arrow. But if you've not done archery before, you won't know what this feels like. You won't know how to release the arrow. You will just go like that and open the hand, and you'll probably do that, and then this will cause a bad release.
That ain't how you do it? Shit. I think when you're holding something, you just let it go. Release, right? You know what? I'm gonna let him teach us.
And the arrow flight will probably be bad, and it's not good technique. So to start with, what you need to do, if you want to start the correct way, is to learn the feeling of the correct technique, and then basically you'll have the feeling, so then you can replicate this. So very simply, you can get your two hands, place the first fingered pads of each hand together, like this. So you can just simply place the finger pads like this together, simply like that, so you're hooking them together. Then you bring your hand to that anchor position I was saying, with the thumb against the neck, bring that there. Now you're in this good anchor position. Now all you do is you increase the tension, so you're just pulling with both hands, increasing the tension, and then as you do this, you just let the fingers slip off each other, like that. So you can increase the tension, you're squeezing, you're keeping the fingers, and then at the same time, you let both hands, you let the fingers slip off. So you just go like that. Notice now how you're learning the correct technique, and you're not doing that. You're not needing to release the string because you can do both sides. What this teaches you is the correct way to release the string like this, and you can keep your release hand hook correct. And then when you do it with the bow and the string in the hand, you'll then know the feeling much better.
I get it.
No.
I actually get it, yo. So yeah, she's saying just don't pull it back and just let it go. You pull back and you more so come off of it instead of just releasing like that. I would have never knew, yo. Now I need to understand why this matters. He's telling us this, but I need to know why this, because I'm one of those people that I can do what you taught me, but it really helps me perfect it and get good at it if I know why I'm doing it. I don't want to just mirror you. I really want to understand the physics of said action.
Better to release it rather than coming in and going like that because you don't know how to release. So this is a great drill, and do this before your first archery lesson and you'll have a massive advantage and you'll really hit the ground running. Another key thing with archery technique for beginners is to make sure to keep the body and the head still. So you don't want to be drawing and moving backwards and forwards. You don't want to be leaning back like this. You want to make sure that you've got your body straight with the square stance. You keep everything nice and you simply have the technique in a nice T shape. So your body is the stem of the T and then your arms are the actual T shape. And this is the good posture you want. To get this, a great way to get it is to simply stand on the shooting line, put your hands out to the side like this in a crucifix. So you simply hands out to the side, look to the left or look to the target. It might be right if you're left-handed. So if you're right-handed, you look to the left where the target is and you simply just bend, the wall's there, but you bend the right hand basically to your anchor position, and that is a good starting point for your general posture. Notice now, because I've not had to draw and do all this, I'm not contorted, I'm not moved around, you just simply there. So that's the posture you're aiming for, and you should be able to replicate that with the bow once you do it. Now, when it comes to actually gripping the bow and holding the bow, what you want to make sure of is that you put the bow into the correct position with the hand. You don't want the hand really far over like this. So you want the left side of the thumb pad, see this lifeline here, you want this side contacting the grip, you don't want this side contacting the grip. So you want this position here is good, you don't want that. And you also don't want this, that's too far round. So you want the thumb pad side here, placed on the grip, so you can make a V, put your hand in the grip, place it down here, and then notice as well as I'm not losing the grip round like this, I'm making sure I'm pushing through the thumb, the knuckles are back, and then that's the correct position. I'm also not grabbing the bow and tightening the grip like this, that's not correct either. So you have the correct grip, like I said.
I ain't gonna lie, I would have been holding it just like he said, all strong and shit. We see the movies, we just think.
And that'll be another massive benefit and a massive advantage you'll have right from your first lesson. Another thing you should be aware of is don't move around on the shooting line between arrows and don't shuffle around and move. So very often at a beginner's course, you'll see archers that come and they'll shoot an arrow and then they'll shuffle their feet.
Now he's talking, I get it. He's doing us this competition archery, but I guess when hunting or doing something like that, the same technique should apply. So I don't know enough yet to formulate a plan of how to utilize these skill sets.
And shoot another arrow and shuffle their feet and move around, or maybe move the body around and stuff like that. Once you go onto the line, you put your stance as it should be, then you stay there. That's it. You move your upper body, you shoot the arrow, you get another arrow, you shoot the arrow, but you don't move in between arrows. There's no need to move. It's not going to do anything good. It's just going to make it worse, less consistent, not as easy to replicate what you're doing. So that's one key point as well. Finally, another point for your beginner's course when you're first starting archery is don't believe the target too much. So what I mean by this is just because an arrow went into the gold doesn't mean you did the right thing. This might sound funny, but when you first start, your technique is not going to be good like everyone. So trust your instructor or your coach, whoever's delivering the course, and do what they're saying in terms of the technique and make sure your technique is good and enjoy obviously the scoring and the hitting the target. But bear in mind the fact that, you know, they have more experience than you do. And just because the arrow went in the 10 doesn't mean that arrow was perfect and you did everything correct, because you're still learning and there's a lot of technique that you need to improve. So bear that in mind and enjoy it, but be aware that, you know, your technique will take time to develop and it will be extremely rewarding when you get it right. And over time, mastering this discipline is really...
There's some good fundamental instructions, but I'm one of those show me learners where I need to see you shoot some arrows. I need to see. I'm not feeling too like confident right now.
Arrow? Or
the slingshot instructor was proficient. I felt comfortable to get a slingshot and go in my backyard and try some stuff after that guy instruction. I'm not feeling that right now. But maybe that's because the arrow is just that much more complicated. But we're going to try to get there. You got to remember the reason why we're doing this. Again, we got to eat. Guns are cool, guns are dope, but guns are loud. Guns run out of ammunition. An arrow can be reused a lot more times than a bullet, because a bullet can only be used once. And again, it's pretty much like jumping in the middle of the street saying, look at me, I'm over here, I'm over here. And depending on the situation you're in, that might be something that you don't want to do. So we got to, aka got to, get a better understanding of this bow and arrow.
Hey guys, this is New Sensei. I've made a few videos, or a few hundred videos, on learning archery, covering the basics from day 1 to more intermediate and advanced techniques. Now, as a club instructor, I've overseen hundreds of learners coming through, learning on the first day, making all the mistakes, and eventually going through, buying their own bow and doing their first competition. And in this time, I've seen a lot of really weird habits. Now, for a regular experienced archer, some of these things look very silly and bizarre. But in fairness, I'm sure most of us have gone through most, if not all, of these things at some point. So today I'm going to go through 10 things that beginners tend to do and how you can fix that. This is probably the most common thing that an instructor has to deal with. Many first-time shooters have a fear of being hit by the string and do whatever they can to avoid having the string anywhere near their face. It's as if they think the string is an elastic band that will come back to hit them. This is actually a rather dangerous habit, as this often causes the shooter to contort their body, and this actually makes it more likely to get hit by the string.
You can't be scared of the bow. You can't be scared of the string. And I've seen this when using regular, firearms. You're not gonna be good if you're scared of the weapon that you're trying to use. So yeah, and I can, as ignorant as that look and as crazy as it sound, I can definitely easily see that being a problem. And this is one of those videos, like I always like to watch these kind of videos. This is a 10 things beginners do and why you shouldn't do them. So this is one of those videos on what people do and what you shouldn't do. But I think, I don't know about you all, but I can learn really well from watching what I shouldn't do. And I like to always say this, we should adjust that, we should adapt that kind of mindset in all aspects of our life. And people lack that a lot. You heard the phrase like, I learned from such and such mistakes. I learned from this person's mistakes. A lot of people can watch somebody do some shit and then go do the same damn thing. And I never understood that. I never thought I was so main character syndrome and so special to where 10 people can do some shit and I'm gonna do that shit myself and expect a different fucking outcome that they got. You got to be insane to do that, to be honest. So that's why I'm able to learn really well from videos that's showing me what not to do. When I see what not to do, it helps me make a better decision on what to do and how to do it. And that's one of these kind of videos. Actually, I prefer these more than just showing me how to do it. That's just the way my brain works, though.
This inherent fear of the string causes a lot of problems when trying to teach people how to shoot. And when it comes to activities that involve overcoming fear, archery isn't exactly what you think of, but you do have to overcome certain fears. You are meant to have the string right in your face. That is normal. You're meant to have the fingers on the corner of your mouth, and you are expected to have the string touching your face. And that's normal. If you shoot Olympic style, it's actually right in their face. You can see their nose and their lips close around the string. And again, that's normal. The reality is the string won't cut off your face. The contact is not going to scrape you and cut off your ear or anything. It's just simply touching here, the string moves forward, and you're okay. So don't be afraid of the string. It's not going to hurt you, but you will hurt yourself if you keep being afraid of the string and try to avoid it at all costs. Beginners always aim too high. You look at the target, you pull back, aim at the middle, and the arrow goes high or sometimes way over the target. This often results in broken arrows, and this is actually an ongoing cost for archery clubs. This is why it happens. It seems logical that you place the arrow over the middle of the target because that's where you want it to go. However, what you are actually doing when pointing towards the center is this. I'm only 5 meters away, and look at how high I am aiming. If I aim right at the middle, I will literally put a hole through the shed wall. Instead of aiming towards the center of the target, place the arrow tip on the bottom of the target. Exactly how far down you go depends on how far you are shooting and the strength of the bow. Generally, you should be aiming lower than you think you need to. This is what happens when I adjust my aim. The reason why you have to compensate for this is because there is a gap between your eye and the arrow. Your eye's up here, the arrow is down here. If you're shooting the normal style, you're shooting Olympic style, that's even lower. So it's very deceptive when you think.
I would have never knew that. I mean, I was in the military for 15 years, and there's something similar that we do. As you know, gravity is real. Gravity is a thing. And gravity affects pretty much everything. And even bullets, right? So we learned at the range that the farther the bullet go out, as bullets going, they slowly start going down. Now, if you shooting a target that 50 meters away, the bullet's not going to drop before it hit that. You even good at 100 or 150. But when you shooting a 300-meter target, you got to aim above it. Almost not aim at it so that you can hit it, because by the time the bullet get there, it would have dropped enough and you would hit the target. And that's similar to what he's saying, like whatever that eye thing he's talking about. I'm not sure about the signs of that, but from what he's saying is that you gotta aim above the target to hit the target. And I'm familiar with that concept by doing what I just described at the range. I wish I understood why it's that way, but I get what he's saying.
Think about where you're aiming at. You think middle of the goal is where I aim. The reality is that you are aiming so high, you're going to shoot down a plane. The instructors get frustrated by this because we tell you to aim lower. We can see you. This is the thing. As a third person, we can.
Well, it's similar, but I take that back. I don't want to confuse people. It's opposite. When you're shooting a target at the range, you gotta have a little bit above. Only for a far target, you gotta aim above it to hit it, because the bullet's gonna drop. Whatever, something about the design of the bow, you gotta aim below to hit it, as if like the arrow curves up when you shoot. I'm not saying it does that, but for all intent and purpose, you aiming down as if it's gonna go up, but really it's probably goes straight. But like you said, something about the eyes will throw off your leveling per se. So yeah, it's nice to know, okay, when you shoot at something with an arrow, aim down some to hit it. That's all you got to remember, people. Aim a little lower than what you want to hit what you want to hit. Down, it'll take a lot of practice to get good at some shit like that. A lot of practice in the understanding of the bow, in the trajectory of arrows. Yo, if you don't know this kind of stuff, you got to start practicing it now, because if the shit hit, when the shit hit, and the grid crash, whatever happens, that brings to where you can't go in the grocery store no more. You got to eat what you hunt and hunt what you eat. You don't want to be trying to learn all this then, because YouTube ain't gonna internet gonna be down, the power gonna be off. Yeah. But just from watching this video, we already a little step ahead on the power curve.
See you doing this, and we know you're going too high, and we say go lower. But people are thinking, oh, it must just be a bit lower, or a bit lower, or a bit lower. No. It's going to be a lot lower. That is what can be frustrating for the shooter and the instructor. The instructor knows what you're doing, and they know why you're doing it. But the shooter is letting their natural instinct take over. And they think that it's going to be in the middle of the goal, therefore I'll aim there. It just doesn't work that way. And oftentimes, the instructor will actually physically pull the bow down. And this may shock you, but the reality is we lose a lot of arrows because people are going way too high. They're hitting wood or posts or target frames. And this can be easily solved by resisting the instinct, listening to an instructor, and shooting straight. This one is a natural instinct which must be addressed immediately. Often, learners will grab the string with every finger on their hand. Sometimes, learners use too few fingers, and at times, at full draw, they actually lift a finger off the string before shooting. Unless you are learning an alternative form of archery, then you will always use 3 fingers. 1, 2, and 3. Now, depending on where you learn, you might learn the split finger method, which is 1 finger over and 2 fingers under the arrow, or you might learn the 3 under method, which is 3 fingers under the arrow. But it's always 3. The trend that I often see with learners is that they instinctively grip the string with their little finger. The thumb might be okay, but the little finger keeps on hooking onto the string. And the more fingers you use, the more likely the release will be foul because it will snag on your fingers. It won't come off cleanly. You really only need 3 for the maximum control and maximum power. Any more than that is superficial and just makes it hard to get clean release. However, I have noticed that a lot of learners don't realize their pinky is on the string. And I'll say 3 fingers. And they don't change. They're using 3 fingers. The thumbs off, 3 fingers. And they're like, oh, I've got 3 fingers. That's 4 fingers. And people don't realize this for some reason. So keep your pinky off the string, let it hang naturally. Don't extend it and try and keep it out of the way. You don't have to, just let it curl naturally and it should rest in this position. Also, don't use your entire hand. That gives you no control over the draw. You have fingers moving.
I don't know about y'all, but let's be fair and honest. If I didn't know, if I wouldn't watch this video, I would have probably been using all 4 fingers or my entire hand. I would have been using fingers, thumb, everything, and pull back, and I would have been just letting it go and letting it fly. Listen, it looks like that's what they be doing in the movies, yo. But as you see, it's a form to this and a technique to this. And sometimes, especially if you're hunting, and if you're hunting to live, you're only going to get one shot at some of these animals, and you're going to scare them off, and they out of there. And now your stomach growling.
No.
That ain't what you want. I hope it ain't.
Being in opposite direction, so it's very, very hard to get a clean release if you're using your entire hand. You only need 3 fingers in the conventional draw. This is perhaps the most annoying part of being a new archer. The arrow keeps falling off the rest. Even if you put your finger on it, it comes off as soon as you move it. There are 2 reasons why this tends to happen. The first reason is called knock pinch. It's when the shooter pinches the arrow between their fingers very tightly like this. And this is particularly prevalent if you're anxious or you're nervous. You tend to tense up and grip things. So if you are actually touching the arrow with your fingers, then that's going to cause the arrow to move when you move your fingers. That's obviously a bad thing. So one general advice is to give some space between your fingers.
This bow and arrow is cool and all, and this guy instruction ain't bad. I want to try going over to more of a hunting bow and see what they're doing over there in hunting bow land, because we're going to be hunting, right? We trying to survive here. We're not trying to win competitions. We're trying to get something to put in our bellies. Not saying that bow's not capable of that, but let's see the honey bow instructors and see what they're talking about.
KC with the Element, and today I'm going to show you how to choose and shoot a hunting bow. So one of the first things that we need to cover is what is a hunting bow. Okay, there's a lot of different types of bows out there. You might hear bows and arrows, but really it's just a bow, okay? You have traditional style.
That hunting bow looks really complicated. I'm not sure about this video.
Archery, you have target archery, and then you have compound archery, which this is a compound bow. We'll only really talk about these today. So there's a couple things you need to consider when choosing a bow.
Yeah, hell no. I'm not finna waste your time. I'm not finna waste my time. That looks far too complicated. That looks far too complicated. Before I find a bow that we can actually use, yeah, because we some fucking beginners. We ain't fucking Hawkeye, yo. Let me do some admin stuff real quick.
What's up, nieces and nephews? Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and please share.
If you want to support, hit up my Cash App at $UncBeStreaming. Any donation will be greatly appreciated. Thanks in advance.
Shout out to all my people checking me out on Rumble. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and please share. Show some love, y'all.
To super chat or donate, hit the Ko-fi link pinned to the top of the chat. Any support would be appreciated.
Give a nigga a break. Give a nigga a break. How much more can I take? Give a nigga a break.
Yeah, we gotta find something a little more reasonable.
If you are new to archery, you're absolutely
A little more like I just from looking at that hunter bow, I'm like, it don't even look like it's easy. I need a basic Native American bow type style. You know what I'm saying? No simple shit possible. Cause yeah, that other bow, that hunter bow, don't even look like it's the easiest thing to string or restring if something were to happen to the string. I'll check out this video. It says archery for beginners, 27 important things to know. We might not go through the whole thing because it seems like this archery thing is a little more complicated than we think. But like I said, we ain't trying to all become Hawkeye from these videos. We just trying to get familiarization with the bow and arrow. To get good at this, we're gonna have to buy one straight up and watch these videos and possibly go get some instruction. But if the shit hits, when the shit hits, however the shit hits, and by the shit hits, I mean the breakdown of society in any kind of way, pick your poison, to where the infrastructure is crumbled. And again, I always like to add, this infrastructure is not as stable as we fucking think. If y'all didn't learn anything from the C-19, is that we one bad day from living in a world like the book of motherfucking Eli. You ain't gotta believe it to be in it. And when you're already in it, it's too fucking late. And you might be asking, but why are we worried about a bow? Like I gotta reiterate, they're quiet, the arrows are reusable, and won't draw attention to you your location, and perfect for hunting in a situation where you don't want to be around other people. You want to stay away from other people. You don't want other people or other things to know where you at. But you still got to eat though. So let's go get some small game.
If you are new to archery, you're absolutely in the right place. This is the beginner's guide to getting started in archery. And if you've been in archery for a while, I want to warn you that this is for new people. You still may learn something, but let's not argue about the little things today, because the goal is to have fun and to help more people enjoy archery. And maybe by the end of the video, you'll be able to shoot something like this. This is a longer video. I basically condensed 27 videos into one, so I have timestamps so you can click around and reference this video later if you need to. My intention for this video is to help more people enjoy more archery, not a massive plug for Shatterproof Archery. So in the beginning, I just wanted to say links in the description to everything talked about in this video. A lot of stuff is my business, Shatterproof Archery, but I also do alternative links to other products that I enjoy using, to Amazon and other things. Traditional bows come in many shapes and sizes, kind of like people's hearts. So this right here is a one-piece recurve bow. Now, the different shapes and sizes come for different purposes. So a recurve bow will tend to store more energy than a one-piece long bow, and that's because it's curved backwards more. But there are downsides to that, and that is that it could have a little bit more vibration when you shoot. And sometimes people say it's harder to be more accurate with a recurve bow because they tend to be a little bit shorter. A longer bow tends to feel a little smoother and be a little bit more accurate, a little easier to be more accurate, shall I say. You also have three-piece bows. So you'll see there's these bolts for Allen keys right here, and you can take this down to be three different pieces for storage or interchanging the limbs. There's many different versions of this. There's an industry standard version, that's the ILF system. We don't need to get into those details, but there are takedown bows, recurve, and long bows. There's many other types of bows as well. Another one I can cover real quick is a horse bow. You can see this is designed much different than the other ones. These things are non-bending tips. They're called SIAs. There's so many different styles of bows, and my goal is not to overwhelm you, but
you're going to be overwhelmed.
Making such a deep topic simple is easy. I have to miss so many things on purpose. Yeah. My goal is not to confuse you. So just for the basics of what you need to know at the moment is that you're always trading off speed and maybe smoothness of shooting. And so when you increase the speed, you tend to decrease the smoothness of the bow. Because you're increasing speed, you're going to increase how much stored energy is in the bow or how much poundage is in the bow. If you increase smoothness, you're going to decrease speed because it's going to be less storage energy, which will make the limbs go smoother, or a lower poundage bow. So that's the trade-off on all bows. Now, a well-made bow, you can kind of find the best of both worlds, which is pretty sweet, and that's what we try to do. So how do you make sure you don't get a bow that you don't like? I have two recommendations. One is go to your local archery shop and test out some of the bows they have, but maybe they don't have what you want. So another option would be order from somewhere that allows you to return bows if you don't like it, kind of like Shatterproof Archery or Amazon. I know it's in here somewhere. Bowstrings.
So we need to find a little more on how to. We need to get to the how to part.
Right off the bat, you won't regret it. This is where it gets fun. It's time to shoot the bow. I got some pointers. As a matter of fact, I used to work at a camp, a summer camp, where I got to teach people every single day how to shoot archery. And I learned a lot about the common mistakes or the common questions beginners have in archery. And then through this job of being able to post archery content online, it's been fantastic because I've got so much good information from so many different people that hopefully I can say something that'll help you out. So the first thing is get close to a big target and get close to a big target. Because the worst thing when shooting a bow for the first time is to be scared that you're going to miss. So let's say this is the first shot of my entire life. What would I do? Well, first, I'm gonna get comfortable. So I'm gonna draw this back a few times. Then after I'm comfortable drawing it back, I'm gonna take my first shot super close to a target. That allows me to not fear, and I get to feel what it's like to shoot the bow before thinking about aiming or distance or anchoring or any of that technical stuff. First, we want to be comfortable with shooting the bow, and then make sure what's beyond the target's safe. You wouldn't want a house or anything beyond the target where you know if you missed, it could be dangerous for somebody else. So you want this against a hill, you want to be at a range, you want it in a really safe location. Next pointer, friends, we're going to draw back to an anchor point. What that means is a solid location, an anchor. We're trying to get somewhere that's comfortable. Where's it comfortable? Are you comfortable here, 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 here? It doesn't really matter exactly where you pull to, but in general, a lot of people will use one of their fingers to anchor on a specific location on their face, especially if you can get to bone. So you've got this jawbone here, you've got a little bit of a cheekbone here. I draw back to like the connection right at my lip. There's a little solid spot right there that I put my middle finger, and that's how I go to the same consistent spot every single time. Next, there's a concept called canting the bow. And
it's definitely consistent. They used to teach us that at the rifle range when I was in the Army, that when you're holding your weapon, you got your rifle, your weapon, and where you put, when you're looking through the target with your firing eye, if you can lean the weapon on certain spots, like right here on your side, when you land in the prone, you want to put it in the same spot every time, so your bullets can go in the same spot every time, pretty much. Because just a slight adjustments on where you lay the weapon can change your aim drastically. So that's why I understand what he said. It's really important to pull it in the same place every time. But of course, that'll take a lot of muscle memory. And once you find your sweet spot, keep practicing and learn that sweet spot to that sweet spot is reflex, really.
so what you do when you cant the bow is that just means angling it. Back to the arrow rest conversation, when we draw back or when we shoot a traditional bow with a normal traditional arrow rest, the arrow is just sitting here. So if we draw back with it straight up, the arrow could fall off that shelf. We don't want it to fall off that shelf, so we do something that's called canting the bow, which is just angling it ever so slightly this direction. And with our bows, what we've done is cut in this arrow rest so that when you're comfortably canted, it's vertical. So you've got kind of this vertical line from the ground and the horizon. So you've got kind of a crosshairs with the horizon and your sight window. So we've practiced drawing back to a comfortable anchor point. We're canting the bow slightly. Next, what we want to do is to think about our grip. Now, this is all before I shoot an arrow. I'm going to grip the bow where the throat of the handle is on the meat of my thumb. You don't want to necessarily grip the bow like a hammer. You want to grip it loosely. My personal favorite way to do this is to connect my thumb and my index finger together. And then as I pull back, I'm letting the tension of the string on the bow pull into that meaty part of my thumb. And then when I shoot the bow, I've got this connection here so that the bow doesn't fall out of my hand. But that's a good way to keep the bow in your hand. Some people will shoot with it all the way open, and I've done that before. The only problem with that is you tend to, upon release, grab the bow like that, which makes you jerk. So if you connect right here, grab the string, cant the bow a little bit, practice comfortably drawing back to an anchor point. Don't release the string if you don't have an arrow on it, but just comfortably draw back, and kind of get that feel. You could do that 20 times before you shoot, and you'll be much more confident on your first arrow. There's a concept in archery called dry firing. It's actually something we want to avoid. Dry firing is when you pull back a bow without an arrow and you release it.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. I had a friend once with a compound bow. This was 10 years ago or so, and I had a compound bow, and my friend wanted to pull it back. He pulled back my compound bow, and he was like, oh, that's really cool. And he let go of the string, which is dry firing. Well, the entire string blew up. The cam system fell apart. Screws flew everywhere. The bow is not designed to fire without an arrow on it. And so that's what happened with a compound bow. Have I dry fired a traditional bow?
Yeah, the arrow fell off the string as you were shooting because you were trying to shoot off the mirror.
Oh, this is great. So I did a video where I was doing trick shots to try to beat Dude Perfect's world records. One of the trick shots was shooting 170 meters or something. Is that right? 123 meters and off of a mirror. So I was looking this direction, shooting this direction. I think the arrow fell off. Didn't know that, and you're getting into archery. Now it's finally time to shoot the bow. And don't judge yourself too hard. If you're competitive like me, it can be frustrating when your first shot misses the target or something, but that's not something that you should worry about. The first time you're gonna shoot the bow, don't worry about how the arrow goes, but just get comfortable and have a good time. So how you're gonna grip the string for today is to go within the first crease of your knuckles, that first little crease right there. You're gonna grab the string there. You can either put 3 fingers under the string or 1 finger above and 2 under, whatever's most comfortable for you. Then you're gonna go back to your anchor point. We've already practiced this, so you know what to do. And once you're at your anchor point, the best way I know how to describe it is to not release the string necessarily, but let the string slip through your fingers. So I'm gonna come to full draw, and I'm going to be using my back.
And I like that these guys are telling us similar stuff. Because the other guy, he was pretty much like, when you pulling it back, don't just let it go. Just pull, like he said, with our hands. Remember, he gave us the little example. Lock your fingers, do this, then just let it come off. That's how you do the bow. You just, because as you pulling back, it's eventually gonna slide off the string anyway. And that's how you release it instead of just letting it go. And I think this guy's pretty much covering the same thing. So it got to be true, right? Definitely something I wouldn't have known to do.
Back as much as I can to add tension right here. And as I continue to add tension, I'm just gonna let the string slip through my fingers. So I don't even know exactly when it's gonna release, but I'm hovering on the target, so that's okay. So here would be my best example. I'm gonna draw back and just let it slip through your finger. I don't know exactly when that moment is of release, but what I do know is that you shoot better with a surprise release. And we don't have surprise release mechanical systems, so we have to create it ourselves. And you can only think about one thing when you shoot. So if you're already hovering on the target, just think about increasing your tension lightly. Just let the string slip through your fingers. One last note Kaz was saying, just so I can be extra clear here. When I said increasing tension, you're not pulling the string back further. You're just increasing the tension, or at least for me, in the back, how it feels. So I'm getting into a little bit of depth right now, but I call it, or a lot of people call it transfer to hold. So I'm gonna pull back, anchor, and I'm kind of transferring until it releases. And so it feels like you're increasing tension in your back. It feels like you're increasing tension, but I'm not pulling the string back and then letting go. I'm just increasing that tension as my fingers slip through the string, or as the string slips through my fingers. The main goal in the beginning is to let some arrows fly and have a really, really good time. And that's it, to laugh, to hit a bullseye every once in a while. But the main goal is to have a good time. Keep that in mind, because then when you come back next time, you'll find
That's not our main goal over here. We're trying to learn how to take out our enemies in silence We're trying to learn how to hunt when we don't have no more bullets, how to get food, how to eat, how to thrive and survive. Yo, this bow and arrow stuff is way more complicated than I thought. Way more detailed than I thought. It's just so many situations and scenarios that we got to get to. It's so much there's no way I can even cover it all and have it make sense without information overload. That's why right now we just presenting concepts and ideas. I would really suggest diving into it later because it's just so much information. Up next, we're going to look at something that I think just important though, and that's how to make your own bow for the zombie apocalypse. Now, again, they like to use zombie apocalypse because it's the most coolest end of the world concept that it make all the moves in the shows. But again, like I always like to say, anything can happen, be it the infrastructure collapsing, World War III. I mean, we got stuff going on now in this country, right? The economy collapse, solar flares knocking out all the electronics, EMP bomb, yada, 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 deadly virus, whatever happens. The food truck's not delivering stuff to the grocery store anymore. Walmart ain't got no food. Shit gets real. People taking shit. People pillaging and plundering. We're living like bandits. You don't want to be around that shit no more. You go off into the wilderness. Y'all in the wilderness now, but it ain't no grocery store in the wilderness. How you gonna eat? You only got so many bullets. Guns are loud. That's where the bow and arrow comes into place. And let's say you break your bow get damaged, whatever. You lose your bow, etc. It's good to know, right, how to make one. So I think this is crucial.
Again, we're in that scenario where we're on a survival type of situation. We have zombies coming at us. We have limited materials or no materials. What can we do? We know how to use a bow. Heck, we even know how to make a bow. We just need materials. What do we need? What's the minimum we need? You can get a good stick, a good limb. It's going to work for a while. If you don't know 100% what you're doing, it's going to break. But what about PVC pipe? This is a typical piece of Schedule 40 PVC pipe. This is something you can find in someone's house as you're ransacking a house trying to find things quickly, an old hardware store, a work site. There's multiple ways to find a piece of PVC pipe. This is a 60-inch piece of PVC pipe. That's one thing. Number two, a piece of paracord. You can use other things, but this is pretty typical. You can find pieces of paracord, a really strong, tough cord, and a knife or a Leatherman or some type of tool. And that's all you need. I'll show you exactly how to make an effective survival bow for the zombie apocalypse. Okay, so we have our piece of PVC pipe. There's a couple things we need to do. First, I took a piece of this paracord and I cut it the same length as the piece of PVC pipe. This is 60 inches. Just for making it easy on yourself, we cut it the same length as the PVC pipe, and we tied a very simple knot at the end of it with a loop, and I'll show you what it's going to be used for. We're going to be making another one of those, but you'll see why in a second. So the first thing I do, I want to make a cut about 1 inch down on my piece of PVC pipe. So give yourself a score where you want to do it, and we're going to keep cutting. What we want to do as we're cutting this away, we want to make sure that it's straight. We want to make sure that we can fit our string inside this little area. So we're going to kind of notch it out as I keep going here with it. You can kind of see it starting to form into a notch, right? Like almost like a notch that you put into a tree when you're trying to fell it. So we're going to keep going here. We're almost through it already. I'd like to go a little bit deeper than that. So So a little bit deeper, and you'll see why. It's going to be used to catch the string and hold it there, and we're going to make this thing into a bow. So I'm going to keep working it.
Time change shit really fucked up my timetable for this show. It's like 3:32 now, but it really supposed to be 2 something.
So it's as deep as I want it to be. That's probably pretty good. Okay, so be careful because you're using a knife, but we're going to slip this paracord down over, and that's going to slide down in. You can see how deep. It doesn't need to go real deep. I want to go a little bit deeper. I'm going to go almost halfway. I'm not quite there yet. So I'm going to go a little bit further. Okay, that feels pretty good there. Nice and cleared out. Okay, and that string's going to sit right in there. It's going to hold real good. So we're going to flip this around, do the same thing on the other side. Now before I finish this off, I want to already pre-bend it. So I want to bend it down and see how it's going to want to bend for me. Because this top will twist. I want it to be about right there. So this is the edge. I want to make my next cut. And we're just going to do the same thing we just did down at the other end. Notch it out real good. And again, there's a lot of good ways to do this.
All the videos we watched so far, I think this is the most useful one. Not even on cap. This is what I've been looking for.
You have some really good tools, but again, you're figuring you're in a situation where you just got a knife. You know, what can I do to be effective? Okay, now we have our other secondary notch, and we're simply going to bend this bow into shape, which is about right there. Okay, and that's about where we want to do our loop. So I'm going to slip it off and make my loop. Okay. So again, you can decide how you want to tie your knot. There's bowyer's knots. There's all kinds of different knots you can make, as long as it's going to be tight and effective. So I'm going to bend this into place. Loop on. Okay, now what do we have? We have our bow. Is it perfect? No. Can it work? Let's see. Okay, so we have our piece of PVC. We have our paracord attached now. It looks like a bow. Let's see if it's effective. So you want to find center on there to make the perfect shot. But again, this is a high stress situation. Get as best as you can. Let's just see if we can be effective with a piece of PVC and a piece of paracord. There's one in the skull. Let's see how effective we were. Okay, so again,
It went all the way through that melon and out the back. I mean, again, for some PVC pipe and some cord, that's pretty effective. I ain't saying like you ain't Hawkeye, no shit. You ain't the nigga off Lord of the Rings. However, for small game hunting, that can be effective. Again, you don't have a bow, you lost your bow broke. This video right here is perfect. Perfect. When it comes to this bow and arrow thing, I suggest if that's want to be your weapon of choice, I like the slingshot. It's smaller, and anything can be your projectile. Once you run out of the little steel marbles that you have, any right size rock can be your target. You're not gonna be fighting off a bunch of people or nothing with the slingshot. But right now, we are just trying to eat. You just trying to get a motherfucker off you if need be. It's better than nothing. But I like this video because it got straight to it. And that's some useful information to know. I personally think to know how to make your own bow. So salute to that guy. Where we at? Where's my oh, my soundboard is different tonight. Oh, here we go. Just like that. So, okay, we saw a couple of videos instructing us how to shoot a bow, some real basic instruction. We got a fundamental understanding. Again, if you want to mess with bows, I would suggest making one like he just did, or buying the most affordable one you can for practice. Don't buy nothing fancy, you know, all that. Just get a little cheap basic bow and play around with it till you're familiar and comfortable with it, and maybe go take some lessons. And then once you do that, you get something a little better, and from there you maybe can get something like what I'm about to show y'all. This video is titled Survive the Zombie Apocalypse, a packable takedown survival bow. I like the survival part and I like the packable part, because the more the less space consuming stuff is in these kind of situations, the better. The more easy to carry stuff is in these kind of situations, the better. So let's check it out.
Compact takedown survival bow that fits right into your backpack. This is it. This is the whole bow. And compact arrows that break down. Let's take a peek. So Survival Archery Systems, or SAS, or SAS. I'm not sure which they prefer, whether it be SAS or SAS, but that is the name of the company. And this is the Scout Takedown Survival Bow. Lightweight, aluminum, really good limbs, and they have collapsible arrows. Overall setup of this bow is very, very simple. The arrows they sell on their website are breakdown. They unscrew in the middle and they pack down next to nothing. So the upper part of the shaft unscrews from the lower part of the shaft and breaks down to just that right there. I'm not a person who does it consistently. I'm not religious with it. I don't hunt that way. I hunt with a compound bow, but I do shoot recurve, and I have had some experience, but not a lot. And it's gonna take some practice to find out the holdover points of this bow and get my anchor points as I draw back. And once I get that down, I'll start pulling the bow back even further and putting more poundage behind those arrows and let them scream down range. With enough poundage and with a good broadhead, you probably could be able to use this on a deer. Now, I don't recommend that. I'm not sure what they recommend on their website, but I wouldn't recommend it. I'm a firm believer in, if you have good technology, use it. And with compound bows nowadays, screaming arrows downrange at a high rate of speed with very heavy grain weights, I don't see the point in potentially risking wounding an animal. I personally want that animal dead as fast as possible in archery season, and I'm gonna use a compound bow for that. But for a survival situation and using this bow to get small game if you need to, and even potentially deer and other game like it, with a good broadhead on the end of these arrows, it's definitely got potential. Survival bow and lightweight and packs down to next to nothing, it's hard to beat. Very well made, really cool. And
I think they got me. Depending on the price of this might be what I get. So far, I'm sold. It's cool to know the skills the other guy just showed us to build one, but this is the one I would buy. And if once this one start working or break or get lost, I know how to build one. Again, you can't, when it comes to survival, when the shit hit, the store is not going to be open no more. So you cannot put your eggs all in one basket. That's why I was like, know as many ways to filter water as possible. It's cool to have the you know where I put it at, the life straw filterization system, but it's also other ways. It's cool to have lighters, matches, magnesium, flint, yada yada, all that, but you might have to know the old rubber dub way of starting fires, just that kind of shit, which we saw several different techniques in that previous video. Those techniques to start fires with friction definitely look exhausting, but I'd rather be tired than freezing to death, and I'd rather be able to cook my food and warm my water. But again, before we get to cooking food, first we got to be able to get some food, and that's where this shit right here come into play.
Rugged. It's no pomp and circumstance. There's no flashy logos on it. There's no flashy, engraving or anything like that. It's just a solid tank that's meant to be durable and survive, to allow you to survive. Once you get this bow, obviously it'll be all compact. It's very easy. You put the upper limb into the section and you put the lower limb into that section, and there's a little viewing window right here that shows if that limb is far enough in. If you don't see the limb in that viewing window, you haven't pushed it in far enough. You got to make sure to do that. You do that with both ends. So let me show you how quick it is to break this down. Do a step through technique. You put the lower limb onto your foot. That way it's not digging into the dirt. You bend the upper limb down. You remove your bow string. You step back out of the bow, and right there, the lower limb already fell out. And then the lower limb is on the bottom of the bowstring. Take the bowstring off of that. Just like that. Cord this up however you want to. I like to.
It's compact. I like how easy the string to come off. It allows you to have replacement strings if need be, and use what we call in the Army zip cord to replace your string. Probably won't be as good as the actual string, but that's pretty much the same cord that other guy had with his bootleg arrow, and it'll suffice, especially for the small game, which we're going to get into later.
Put it right into the frame of the bow because there's a little opening in the front. I use a regular Night Eyes twist tie, and I just wrap this around the bow and the limbs. To put this bow together, it's very simple. Unwind it. This is your grip. You slide these into the bow, so you be shooting this direction. You want to have the little notch point at the top of this arrow facing down and back towards you. So you push this into the upper portion. Now on the lower limb, you want to make sure that little knock at the bottom is facing up and towards you for the lower limb, and that fits into the frame just like that. A little loop over top of the limb. Make sure that's snug. Do the step through technique, so you put your leg through and you put the lower limb on your foot. You pull this back. You slide your bowstring over top, fits into that knock, and you're good to go. So a huge shout out to rebelscreed.com. They are a huge supporter of my outdoor channel. Rebelscreed.com is a patriotic apparel company making all sorts of good patriotic gear for you guys to voice your thoughts on your t-shirts or a hat and be able to piss off some weirdos out there nowadays. Go check them out. They support the channel. They help out a lot, and I want to support them as well. Rebelscreed.com. Just knock your arrow on there. I like to have the fletching to where it's most open on the right side. That way, as it passes through, it's not hitting the frame of the survival bow itself. But I do 2 under, 1 over top. And once again, I am far from an expert. I do it recreationally. I don't do it for hunting. I do it just for fun, and I'm not great. So bear with me. I've only used this bow a handful of times, and I absolutely love it. I'm enjoying the heck out of it, but I need to practice a lot more. So be gentle in the comment section. I'm still trying to find an aiming point, so bear with me. But either way, as far as you want to draw back, it gives you more power. Obviously, the further you can draw back, this bow is meant for a decent amount of poundage, and it definitely puts out a good amount of speed. See if I can get somewhere near the center. A little high and right. I got to fine tune that, that's for sure. Knocked another one on. A little bit low and right. Fine tuning. It's all about practice. All about practice. A little bit left, over-calculated. And obviously, I'm not fully drawing back and really stretching its limits yet. I just want to get a good positioning on this bow and get a good anchor point and actually land my shots accurately before I start really yanking this bow back. Not proud of this group, but it'll get better.
Yeah, a little wonky. Target's moving on me a little bit.
But first shot, second shot, third shot, I need to hone it in. I'm aiming here, so that's horrible group, but I'll get better. Just make sure to check these arrows. You'll hear them.
I think you could have got the squirrel with that, buddy. I think that would have worked for me. I don't fucking know. So we went over several videos of different arrow technique. We saw a guy build his own bow and arrow out of PVC pipe and pretty much zip cord. And then this guy showed this cooling, this particular retractable, breakdown, adjustable, easy to pack bow. And I pretty much like it. I think this is going to be the one I'm going to get. Long as it's under $200, I'll get it. And I'll probably do some videos of me using it, just like I'm gonna get the slingshot and do some videos of using that. I probably ordered the slingshot tonight. Actually, I used to have one before, but I lost it in a house fire. But so okay, we saw a crash course on how to use the bow, right? Are we fucking Hawkeye? No. We saw this cool bow, but the point of using the bow, like I said, bullets run out. Bullets can't be reused, but arrows can. And bullets are loud that give away your position and draw whatever it might be to your position. And we don't want that. But again, we got to eat. And we did videos on how to purify water, how to build shelter, and how to start fire. Well, now we're hungry. So that's why we did the video on how to hunt with the bow. So now we know how to hunt with a bow, allegedly. Again, these are all skills you got to do hands-on, you got to learn, you got to practice, and you got to get in muscle memory. But we're just going to say, now we know how to do it. Now it's time to go hunt some small game. And since we know how to hunt, we can hit and we can delete the small game, right? But now that we deleted the small game, what the fuck do we do with it? Because again, like I said, we live in a world where we're so used to going to the grocery store. You got people, city boys, you know what I'm saying? You got grown men and women walking around, don't even know how to fish, don't know how to scale and prepare a fish to cook. So they definitely don't know how to do this with small animals. And again, right now, all this shit sound, I don't need to know how to do this shit. But again, if C-19 and taught you anything, the infrastructure of this country is fragile as fuck. We're one button push. We're one fucked up virus. Listen, y'all saw my videos before, if you didn't, about the bunkers. You got our fair-skinned counterparts building bunkers all over the planet. They not spending billions of dollars to build all these bunkers for no goddamn reason. They gonna be good. They got gyms and swimming pools and inside farms and fish farms and grocery stores and restaurants, 5-10 years worth of supplies inside these bunkers. We gonna be up top. They gonna be down there. We gonna be living like the book of Eli. They gonna be living like the people in that facility on the Resident Evil show that was on Netflix that wasn't that good. But y'all get the point. We gonna have to get it out the mud. Now, as humans, we gotten soft. We wear shoes, the bottom of our feet soft. We begin, you got motherfuckers that be out in the heat for 30 minutes and you know what I'm saying? You got motherfuckers hate the rain, hate the cold. I don't like none of that shit. But I can handle it really well because in the military, sometimes I had guard duty in 20 degrees and it wasn't shit I can do about it, but just stand out there for 8 hours. And if it start drizzling, nigga, you just getting wet. You know what I'm saying?
no.
And I'm not gonna act like I'm not no Army Ranger. I'm not no fucking shit like that. But I'm a country boy. I'm from Louisiana, and I always been one with nature. I always like hanging out in the woods and doing stuff. I've been hunting several times when I lived in Tennessee, and every time you went out in the field and did our outdoor stuff in the military, those was always my best moments and best time. And I embraced that shit and had fun, and I locked in. And a lot of these skills, you just never know. Like, again, you don't have to believe, you don't have to be paranoid. Just be prepared. Even if you just prepared information-wise, just knowing about the stuff and having some familiarization with it, you still one step ahead of the person who just strutting through life thinking like food gonna be in Walmart forever. C19 showed us that Walmart gets empty fast. Believe it or not, within like 72 hours of shit going bad, the grocery stores was get empty. It don't take weeks. No, it takes days. Because if you notice, it's always 18-wheelers on the highway. And if you go to Walmart and stuff, you notice it's always it's a constant rotation of trucks unloading. If you notice, Walmart don't have no storage area in there. It's no like food storage place. What's on the shelves is what they have. Once it's gone off the shelves, it ain't shit that's in there. So the trucks are constantly cycling in. And the trucks are part of the logistics system. But when the shit hit, if the shit hits, the logistics system gonna be one of the first things to go. Them truck drivers ain't gonna be worried about delivering you your fucking Walmart food. They're trying to get home to their family to take care of their loved ones. Fuck that truck. Fuck dropping off that stuff to your store. Again, if COVID was 3 times longer and 3 times worse, we might never recover as a country. And I say that all the time. People don't have to believe that. But anyway, so we from the previous videos, we know how to purify water. We know how to start fires in multiple ways. And we know how to build shelter. And now we watch these other videos. We're familiar with the bow. We're picking the bow because, again, arrows can be reused. Or we can go with the slingshot from yesterday's video. Slingshot, bow, whatever. I suggest have both. Slingshot's very small, and you can use anything as a bullet. That's the sweet deal. Arrows are better and more powerful, but you only can use the arrow, and if your break get damaged, it's really hard to recreate one that's accurate, but any old rock can take out a squirrel. So bam, you got your shit. You know how to use them decently. You done killed you a squirrel. What's next? Now, if you're sensitive to animals, you're gross off easy. I don't recommend watching the next series of videos that we're about to watch. It's about cleaning and preparing small game. But I think this is very important stuff to know when needed. So bear with me. Again, sensitive stomach, sensitive eyes. You're vegan, close your eyes, whatever. But you're gonna need protein. You're gonna have to eat. And if you think the stuff you buy from the grocery store wasn't alive at one point, you're a fucking goofy goober. No. Every time you eat a burger, that shit was mooing at one time. Every time you eat some fried chicken, that shit was clucking. It did not wake up in that package at the Walmart. So again, let's get to it. So again, you got your weapon of choice, your slingshot, your bow and arrow, whatever. You're starving. You done caught some small game. We know how to make fire. We know how to get pure water. You got some water boiling. You got your fire going. But you done kill the small game. but that shit hairy as fuck. It's fur on it. What we do next, people?
I'm gonna show what's up with breaking down a cottontail rabbit and making it, you know, totally ready for whatever kind of recipe you do. As an herbivore, I mean, they have a pretty big gut, and they get sour quick. So even if it's cold out like now, it's below freezing, this thing would start to green up if you didn't gut it right away. I'm gonna totally clean him for cooking. I don't need to worry about gutting him first. You just want to cut a notch into the hide right there. Now, from there, I'm just going to peel back, undress that leg like a sock, undress that leg down to the last knuckle. Usually the tail stays on, grab that, just pluck that. Now, just pull down.
And I get it. Gross, right? But I don't know if y'all remember from Book of Eli, but if I'm not mistaken, somebody in the chat let me know. Eli ate a goddamn cat. When we're hungry, you'll be amazed what you would do. Y'all remember that movie from back in the day? It was called like Alive or something. It's about when the plane crashed in the mountains, and it's based on a true story. And they was freezing up there, and everybody was hungry and starving to death. And there was some dead bodies around, and they end up eating booty meat. And I'm not even exaggerating. It's a sad story. It's unfortunate, but you know that's where the most meat at. It was the easy stuff to cut and get to, and they was literally eating ass.
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up.
I don't think these people woke up that day wanting to become cannibals. But again, right now, this seems primitive as fuck and fucked up. But when the grocery stores are empty, the economy has collapsed, the infrastructure has crumbled, again, through World War III, through economic crumble, through a virus that we couldn't shake back from, through whatever. This that you might consider gross might be the only way to feed your fucking family, yo.
Okay, at this point, the hair has been pulled off, except for the feet. Now I just go through and pop the joints. Pop the joint. Take the knife back out. There. 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 Come in. Sever the head. Okay, now he's hairless, but he's still got his guts in him. Just make an incision right here at the base of the sternum.
Again, if you squeamish and don't want to survive, leave. If you squeamish but want to live and feed your kids, please stay, because we got a series of these videos of how to prepare small game. Because again, we know how to purify our water, we know how to get water, we know how to start fires, we know how to build shelter. So you got water, shelter, fire, but you ain't got no food. And we know how to use projectiles to hunt. Now that part, that skill set ain't been perfected, but we went over some videos in some different ways. But in the world we setting up, you done got good at that shit, because honestly, you ain't got no choice. So we're here now. But don't skip the step of learning how to use your slingshot, learning how to use your bow. Again, guns are cool and all, but they have maintenance, limited rounds, bullets are heavy as fuck, and they can't be used once they're shot. So it's cool to have a gun as a last measure to take out whatever enemies might be out there. But for hunting and stuff, you don't even want to use your gun. You want to save your bullets to take out Negan. Y'all seen Walking Dead? You need your bullets for the Negans out there. But to catch rabbits, you want to waste a bullet on this little shit?
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up.
Man, you don't want to waste your bullet on Peter Cottontail. You save your bullets for Negan them. Save your bullets for the cannibals, the pirates, the bandits. Listen, I'm a bandit, yo, but I'm not that kind of bandit. But when the shit hits, if the shit hits, it's gonna be some real live bandits out there. And you want to save your bullets for them.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Oh, shit. Say hello to my little friend.
So let's get back to it, though. I bet that boy finna cook. I wonder if he gonna cook it up for us. Y'all think he gonna cook it up?
Lift that stuff up so you're not cutting into the guts. A trick in gutting, whether you're doing deer or anything, is when you get down to this area, in order to not snip the bladder and the lower intestine, you just grab this stuff and pull it up and clear that channel out. And you put your knife in there. So I split the pelvis, just take it up like this and reach up and you grab the heart and all of its little moorings right here, pull it free. You'll see the kidneys peel away.
When I lived in Tennessee, I had to do this. I think I was like 12. But yeah, I had to do this. We did it a little different from him. We took the rabbit and we hung it upside down so the blood can flow. And we nailed the feet. We took both feet and we nailed it to a tree. And then right at the feet, we cut around both feet. We cut around both feet first. Yeah, cut around the feet, nailed them to the tree. Then since we cut around the feet, we took where we cut on the skin, then we just peeled down like this. And just kind of like how he just peeled the skin off. And then we cut down the middle and everything just kind of dropped out, but you had to kind of get in there and get a little bit out. And that one was shot with a gun, so we had to pick the buckshot out. And then we chopped off the dome, and then we cut them off at the feet because the hair still was on that. Washed up the meat. Peter Contail was fucking cooked up, yo. And I ain't gonna lie, that joke was delicious.
Can't stop. Won't stop.
Everything down, and we already opened the pelvis, so this is all gonna be able to pass out clean. You can tell this is like a good, healthy rabbit. He's not had a hard winter because he's still got fat on him. You check his liver, no big white spots on it. Sometimes you hear of tularemia. It's a disease you can get cleaning rabbits even. If a rabbit has tularemia, they'll have a sometimes a heavily spotted liver. He doesn't have any on. Looks healthy. And then to part it out, I do the rabbit so he's in 5 pieces. Let's take this flank here, cut that up. Cut through the ribs. There's not a lot of meat there. I'm gonna do 1 back leg. Go like that. Pop the ball joint. There's the 2 back legs. That's the bulkier meat right there.
See, this is why I fuck with you, Camden. You a real one. You still here because you're not squeamish. I get it. You gotta eat. Your kids gotta eat. Peter Contail gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, not sorry. Your ass is out of here, buddy.
Boom, bam, bop, bada bop, boom, pow.
Through the shoulders. Finally, to make it pan size more. Cut the whole saddle. The 2 pieces. And that right there is 90% of the rabbit recipes I do. I use these pieces as is. Always cook rabbit on the bone. When you bone it out, you just lose stuff. And 1 rabbit can feed, it's a big meal for 1 person. It's a light meal for 2 people.
There you go. You and the homie eating, yo. You and your boo thing eating. Whatever, whoever, you know. You and your kid eating. Just like that. And you probably like, but yo, how I'm gonna catch this rabbit? So we gonna rewind back in time for a little bit real quick and get to that. How, Sway? This is gonna be a short rewind of how because you ain't gonna just wake up with the rabbit, right? Fried, died, and laid to the seaside, just dead for you, waiting on you. So how? Where did he come from, right? I know, right? Where did he come from? Yeah, he ain't gonna just hop on your plate. He ain't gonna just slit his own throat either. That'll be convenient, a little too convenient to be honest. So we're just gonna rewind back in Tizine if I can find a video, because I watched so many videos. Oh yeah, we got it.
Hello.
And this video is short and sweet. We probably ain't gonna watch the whole thing, but this for the people that are like, okay, yeah, that was cool and all. He got the rabbit, but how am I gonna get the rabbit? What's the ways? What's the technique? Well, here's the technique.
Hello and welcome to the channel. Hello and welcome to the channel. My name's John Webb, but you lot on here might know me as Gamekeeper John. I'm a catapult shooting, game hunting, core.
You see what he just did to Peter Contel just then? You saw that shit? His ass on the ground. His ass out of there.
No.
He out of there just like that. And you probably like, how the hell he out of there though, right?
My name's John Webb, but you lot on here might know me as Gamekeeper John. I'm a catapult shooting.
I'm gonna tell you how he out of there. A motherfucking slingshot. If you don't believe me, this dude cold with the slingshot, yo.
Game hunting, Corey sniffing enthusiast. I've shot catapults for over 20 years and I've bagged up more than my fair share of game. I love tournaments.
Saw that? Bird in the tree? Bird in the tree? Bird not in the tree no more.
For 20 years and I've bagged up more than my fair share of game. I love tournament shooting, racked up over 97 trophies in tournament shooting. It's been a full-time job, a business and a passion for mine for 12 years, and I've shipped thousands of catapults all over the globe to fellow like-minded shooters and hunters. So I'd like to say I know a fair bit about setup, shooting and hunting. In this video we're going to give you...
So he keeps saying catapult, obviously, but again, like I said when I reviewed this before, that's just a slingshot. So yeah, we ain't gonna go through the whole video. I'm just showing you like that's where you can get your meal from to feed your family with simply using a slingshot. And these people let you know that it does take practice to use a slingshot, but they're not expensive. Anything can be your bullet. So it got a lot of pros. It's less stuff to carry, takes up way less space than a bow and arrow combo. And as you saw what happened to that rabbit and that bird, it can definitely take out small game. You know, you can like rabbit, squirrel, you can get your king rooster on and eat some raccoon, whatever it might be. But when it gets to that level, I doubt you're gonna be like real picky. But again, you really have to know how to prepare the stuff once you catch it. But we're gonna watch just quick of this. So so y'all can't doubt the slingshot. We want y'all to not doubt the slingshot, right?
All together. We're going to start by putting on our lanyard for safety reasons, of course. And then you're going to hold your slingshot out, load your pouch, and then you're going to draw back your bands underneath your dominant eye and sight right down the bands. The ball is going to travel down that line. Wherever the bands are pointing, that's where the ammo is going to go. And then once you get it on target, your corner, your fork tip, or your fiber optic bead, whatever your reference point is going to be pointed directly at your target. And then you're just going to allow yourself to release nice and smoothly. It should look something like this. All right, just a quick recap.
Y'all saw him hit that little target? That right there, that was dinner. That was dinner. So again, that's how we get dinner, right? We kind of got to understand it. Slingshots, bow and arrow, whatever your weapons of choice, pick it, master it as much as possible, because you got to eat. So you got all that down. You know how to do all that. You cold as a motherfucker. You like bullseye on Daredevil with that. So now you got to prepare this food, and that might be the hardest part for a lot of people, because people get squeamish, but we ain't gonna be like that, because we gonna motherfucking survive, right? So how to clean and process a large squirrel, fast and easy. We saw Peter Cottontail. The video is straightforward, clear, and concise. Let's see how he do this squirrel. I think different animals get done differently, and different guys have different technique. And like I said, with anything, when it comes to survival, don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's best to know as many techniques as possible, because you never know what situation you're going to be in, and you never know what technique you're going to need. Know all the ways to purify water. You ain't got to be the master of them, be able to do each one, and maybe master one. All the ways to start a fire, because you're not going to always have lighter and matches and all that shit. Cool to have that, flint, magnesium, all that. But you might have to know some of the most primitive ways, the more primitive shit, because you never know. So we're going to watch a couple guys. They're going to prep this small game. You caught that shit with your slingshot or your bow and arrow. And it's dinner time, baby. Let's go.
What is going on, everybody? About a year ago, I made a squirrel cleaning video where I just peeled the skin off with my hands, and I've gotten messages and comments saying y'all are having trouble doing that, or it don't work for you, or this method doesn't work with larger squirrels. The method works just the same. You just have to figure out a way to apply a little bit more muscles. I'm gonna show you how to do it if you're having trouble. So the first thing you got to do is just like that last video, is you got to take these front feet off. And I'll show you why that's important here in just a second.
I ain't gonna lie, these dudes ruthless how they do animals, boy. They ruthless as fuck, but that's just the way of the world. Survival of the fittest. Everything could be someone's meal on any given Sunday.
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up.
Catch yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time, you'll fuck around and be some animal's meal. If the shit hits, when the shit hits, however the shit hits, you'll fuck around and be another human's meal.
Oh my God.
All your little bullshit, sentiments and sentimental shit, immorality shit, go out the fucking window. It's cool to be on a more high ground and what you will do and not do when you can go to Walmart, but when you can't, and your stomach growling, and your kid like, I'm hungry, I'm finna get this slingshot, and my baby girl about to eat some motherfucking squirrel. But I gotta know how to cook that motherfucker, yo.
Then you come in here behind right at the base of the tail, make you a cut. And you're trying to get between those tailbones. You're not trying to. There we go. Cut through the bone. All right, here's what you got to do. Here's where some of y'all are having trouble. You got to start your cut kind of going around the leg. Skin him down just a little ways. All right, now here's what you do if you're having trouble pulling the skin off with your hands. You just take it, set it down on something hard, step your foot on it, and just peel it off like that.
See, y'all thought I was joking when I said we peeled that. That's why we nailed that rabbit to the tree, and since his feet was nailed to the tree, we was able to just peel that motherfucker like a banana, yo, just like that. And that's why we nailed it to the tree to have it was stuck there, and we just. Then at the end, we cut it at the feet, at the ankles, and we had to. It was like that. It was skin.
I hate those geese. Then this is why you cut the feet off early. Look, you stick your thumb in there and you just pull that skin right off. And then
all people like this, country and redneck, we try to get on King Rooster and how he talking and how he probably live out there and some of the stuff he talk about. He be eating coon and possum. But them the kind of people that you might want to learn from, you might want to be friends with, because they gonna make it. I know this dude got rifles. I know this dude got guns. He probably don't fuck with people that look like us, of course, but you got people that look like us that has these same skills too, and you also can learn these same skills because it's you don't have to be the king of fucking hunters, the wilderness god, but being proficient in these skills is possible. Is very, very doable for just the average man or woman.
you just peel the bottom half off. You just kind of work your thumb back and forth until you can get a hold of it. And peel the bottom off. And then you lay them on a cutting board or something hard. You take the top half off, get it out of the way. Then you take the back feet off there. And then what I do, it's real simple. You just, right there where those muscles meet, I come in with my knife and I open that up. And then I go in like this. Then I turn it over. Just peel up the middle. And you just take your fingers.
And y'all know I don't give two fucks because I've been sitting here eating chicken the whole time watching this shit. You know what I'm saying? Appetite ain't fucked up at all.
No.
Appetite ain't fucked up at all.
And I'm holding this backwards on purpose. You just take your fingers and pull their innards out. And you have a skint squirrel, you take him in and cut him up and make dumplings out of him, fry him, whatever you.
That boy said he finna make squirrel dumplings.
What the hell?
I ain't gonna lie, squirrel dumplings kind of sound delicious than a bitch. Yo, you know that shit sound good, nigga. Squirrel dumplings, nigga? Yo.
What's up, nieces and nephews? Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and please share.
To super chat or donate, hit the Ko-fi link pinned to the top of the chat. Any support would be appreciated.
Shout out to all my people checking me out on Rumble. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and please share.
If you want to support, hit up my Cash App at $UncBeStreaming. Any donation would be greatly appreciated. Thanks in advance.
Give a nigga a break. Give a nigga a break. How much more can I take? Give a nigga a break.
Give a nigga a break. Yo, so we know at this point, fast forward, you know, we don't watch videos on this. We don't practice sometime in real life. We know how to skin. My bag, I hit the wrong button. So yeah, we done practice. We know how to skin the animals, right? Let's fast forward, right? Once you skin them, right, they still raw. You might want to skin them and turn that shit into dinner, maybe sizzle that motherfucker up or something. I don't know. Yeah, I remember. It ain't no fucking the gas not on, the electricity not on. You done left civilization to get away from the bandits, the cannibals, the fucking people that want to take your shit and just civilization altogether. You don't went out in the wilderness a little bit. So you know how to, like I said, you know how to make your fires, you know how to purify your water, you know how to build shelter, you got your slingshot, your arrows, you know how to catch these little animals, you know how to fucking skin them and peel them, and you got to put all that shit together, right? You got to put all that shit together. And that's where this comes into place.
Got a spit set up with branches in the middle of that stick poking through the rib cage. We've got meat on the hot coals directly. It's the most primitive method of cooking. It's also very effective. And now we're moving to the rock griddle. In this part,
You know what? This video right here, I want to say it started in the middle. So we're going to go find the rest of this cooking shit, because I want to know.
part of Maine, we don't have flat rocks. We have flattish rocks, but
I really want to know how to do this shit. I mean, I barbecued before, but we got to start this kind of stuff from the motherfucking alpha to the omega, from the rooter to the tutor, and all that. Warning, this video depicts the field dressing of porcupine. It may be too graphic for folks not used to knowing where their own food comes from. I said the same thing, buddy. They just think these chickens just cut their own head off, package themselves up, and hop on the shelf at Walmart. That ain't how it happened. Some death got to be involved for us to eat. And when the stores close, you're going to have to do it yourself or starve to death your damn self.
So when we're dealing
now, porcupine, ain't that the thing with the little pricks, the little stickers on it? But hey, it's made of meat. Yeah.
with meat, the best way to preserve it is on the hoof. Let it live until you're hungry enough to kill it. But here in Maine, where the temperatures are dipping below freezing at night and hovering around 50s, refrigerator temperature, it'll last for 4 or 5 days. But you still want to cook all of that meat well done to kill any bloodborne pathogens and nasties. Likewise, when you're fleshing out and processing the animal, you want to wear protective layers on your hands. Make sure you don't have any open cuts that are exposed to the blood. And you want to stay upwind. You want to stay upwind of that animal too, so that any airborne pathogens that might get into your sinus cavities are going to be swept out and away from you. We're going to try to utilize as much of this porcupine as possible. This was a survivor from, actually, this was a animal from the wildlife rescue that didn't make it. So we're going to make sure that it had a purpose in its final days here as a teaching tool. Notice how we're not using a knife here. We're separating the hide from the meat by pulling apart the fascia or connective tissue that attaches the hide to the musculature of the animal. The goal is that you have a nice scar-free hide that you can brain tan using the animal's own brains to tan the hide to create a soft fabric with no holes in it. If you do punch through, and small animals like this you can always sew it together, but now you have to be mindful when you scrape that glaze off of the inside of the hide, the cuticle, that you don't punch and make that hole even bigger. So caution at first saves a lot of time and energy later on. For bone tools, we could use the scapula as a bevel one edge here as a mini scraper to get all the fat off the hide. You want to get this fat off right.
We're going to fast forward a little bit because we saw a lot of animal skinning. And we want to get to some animal cooking, right?
Feet off at the ankles. Okay. Just take the feet off at the ankles. Okay. In full survival, we're gonna rinse this in a stream or we're gonna get all the hairs off the meat. We can have the luxury of discerning tastes, but when you're hungry, I bet this tastes just like a sirloin.
Ozzy Osbourne, Judas Priest.
Nice.
But then in this first one,
He said it, not me, people. When you hungry, he bet that shit tastes like a motherfucking sirloin.
oh my God!
And I believe him. When you hungry. And trust me, there might come a time where you get that fucking hungry.
98.6. That just hit it out of the park with me, you know. I was really digging, you know, his whole, what he has to share with us. Maybe feet too, dry him out.
Emily loves keeping the feet.
Yeah, practice tracking.
Exactly.
Maybe feet too, dry him out.
Hindquarters? Yep, again, aim for the
Emily loves keeping
hip
the
socket.
feet.
Yeah,
Nice to West
practice
End
tracking.
Exactly. Start from the inside and work your way out and around.
Seems like a lot of work for some porcupine, right? But what are we to do? So he spent the rest of the video picking on it, but now we know where the porcupine come from, right? So we can get to the part that we needed.
Got a spit set up with branches in the middle of that stick poking through the rib cage. We've got meat on the hot coals directly. It's the most primitive method of cooking. It's also very effective. And now we're moving to the rock griddle. In this part of Maine, we don't have flat rocks. We have flattish rocks, but it'll work. Just when you're working with rocks, they don't look like they're hot until you pick them up and you burn yourself. And be mindful of the danger of having hot rocks around and messing with them. And all we're going to do is take our forearms here, put them on the rock, and it'll stick from the heat. You see that? And you hear that sizzling already? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to bank some coals underneath here just to keep the heat going. And the last method I want to show, so we've got the rock griddle, we've got right on the coals, we've got our spit. We're going to build the fire up a little bit for our spit, maybe turn it around so that the meat's next to the fire on this side. Is clay baking. About an inch and a half thick type of pizza dough configuration here. And I'd go a little thinner. About an inch. Try to be consistent. The idea of this working, and this works great with fish, because when you take the clay off the fish, it's basically a brick that you're removing with a fish inside. It removes the scales, so you just have the fresh meat on a clay plate when you're done. With red meat, you know, that doesn't really matter. But the indicator that the food is done is that the clay is solid all the way around, just like pottery, and it's starting to crack because the moisture and steam from the meat inside is expanding and trying to escape. So we'll put our meat right in the middle here. That's a little too mushy. Well, I guess we're just gonna have to build it. This clay is a little mushy. Too wet. So we're gonna encase it. Instead of folding it like a taco, it's just sort of a little more consistent. Wow, this is gonna be tricky to put on the fire. Big old block of clay with a piece of meat in the middle. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna take this clay. Since we're gonna be building up the fire here, just plop it right in, and that'll brick. The heat will turn that into a brick in about. It could be anywhere between an hour and a half and 2 hours. But when you're done, it's like steam pit cooking. The meat is just, it falls off the bone, it's tender, and it's really hard to burn your meat with this method because the juices are locked inside the clay. Every Neanderthal needs quickie tongs for their barbecue pleasure. Basically, I split a stick off, and this is easy to make, and most people already know how to do this at rendezvous and whatnot. Put a little toggle in the middle. I just lashed some natural fibers to keep that split from going all the way through. And we're going to use these quickie tongs to do everything from turn our meat, and you can see the meat in the coals is pretty much done right there. We're going to turn our meat on the hot rock so we don't burn ourselves. There we go.
This boy ain't put no seasoning on nothing. Maybe I missed that part of the video. Maybe he did that in the part I skipped, but you know, that's me being bougie. See that? I'm being bougie. That's first world problems. Oh, see, I gotta shake this spoiled nature I got too. I'm worried about seasoning. In any kind of apocalypse, nigga, seasoning is last thing on your goddamn mind. You trying to eat? So let me get back in the zone.
Sticking I was telling you about. Alright, just like a barbecue. Only. Alright. So yeah, making your quickie tongs is a pretty essential piece to this. Not just for flipping the meat and getting, you know.
But he grilling the shit up, right? He made a fire. He using the rocks to absorb and conduct the heat, and using the rocks kind of pretty much like his skillet. He also did the clay version, and you got the other one over the fire on the rotisserie, just like, you know, pretty much a rotisserie. So he's showing us 3 cooking methods. And by the way, this is porcupine that he's eating. So he's using the rocks for heat. The rocks is the skillet. He wrapped it in clay to cook it that way. He said that way holds the juices. And he's doing a basic old meat on a stick spinning over the fire. So just right in this one preparation, you got 3 cooking. You don't have to use all 3 at the same time like he doing. He just showing us 3 ways you can do it. But we got 3 cooking techniques for small game right there in front of us right now. Use them all 3. Use one at a time. Use 2. That's all up to you and your situation and the resources that you have around you. But it's definitely important to know or be familiar with all the different ways to do it, because you never know what kind of environment you're going to be in.
Stuff out of the fire, but for hot rock boiling, you want to reach in there and purify your water and cook your stew at the same time, and also to take a coal out of the fire and coal burn your bowls and spoons. Small fire pit and a lot of cooking demonstration pieces taking up the room, so we're not going to do that today. There's all kinds of other cooking methods. That spit, if we took strips of meat about the size of that extra thick bacon slices, we can drape it over that stick across the fire there and dry out the meat for our winter storage. There's a difference between drying and smoking meat. Drying is just the heat alone, driving away the moisture, and it should be just dry enough that when you bend it, it turns white in the middle of that bend. If it's over dried, it gets too brittle and crumbly, and it's not very palatable. If it's under dried, you risk it molding. So smoking imparts the flavor. So you can do both at the same time, and people often do, but just knowing the difference helps to figure out your
Survival
approach.
food more than
I only smoke meat during insect season, and it's not so much for the flavor, but to keep them from laying, their eggs and having maggots on the meat. Throwing them on the coals is a really simple way to cook it, but you got to be really on it. It smells done.
He looked like a motherfucker that'll eat some wild porcupine. Whoever said survival is gonna be pretty, I don't think nobody never said that. It ain't gonna be pretty. This world that I talk about ain't no world I want, because I got a family. But at the same time, when shit happens, life doesn't care about your ideal situation or what you want. Things just gonna be what they're going to be. And it's up to you. Are you gonna curl up in a knot and just cry yourself to death? Or are you gonna overcome and thrive and take those lemons and turn to lemonade and take care of yourself and take care of the people who's under your covering, And you might be eating raccoon. You might be eating porcupine. You might be eating fucking squirrel. And hell, come down to it, you might have to get your Book of Eli on and eat a goddamn cat. JM says, I still want Jim on my team if the shit gets real. You know, yeah, you know, Jim gonna have to want to fuck with your black ass. That's the question. Do Jim want to fuck with our black ass? I think as I'm watching these videos and I'm researching these videos, I don't be seeing a lot of people of color. We used to be the original warriors. We used to be out there doing this shit, right? But we done got institutionalized. This is the thing, this is what tripped me out. We talk about the man in the system and all that stuff real tough. And it's fun. I've always found that funny because we have fully embraced the fuck out of that same system a lot of us swear we hate, to the point where we literally cannot make it without that system. And the same people that we say run the system more so than us have skill sets to make it without their own system. How the fuck is that? We scream all the time that the system ain't designed for us. It's not designed to help us. It's not designed with us in mind. Matter of fact, to some degree, it's designed to hold us the fuck back, to hold us down, to boot to neck us. Yet, we don't have a lot of skills and resources to operate independently of that system.
Oh my God.
Jam says, people really don't understand how close we are to being in a bad situation. That is a fact. People can think I'm crazy. People can think I'm paranoid. I be spending my money on stuff and wasting it. Whatever. I used to have a whole way more stuff than I got now, but I lost it in that house fire. But I've been slowly rebuying everything. And if I never use it, let's say I buy all this shit and it went completely to waste. That's a good thing. I don't want to have to use this shit. I don't want to have to use the shit I bought. I don't want to have to use the skill sets that I practice on in the things I know how to do. When I was a kid and they were showing us how to skin rabbits and shit, I thought it was gross and cool at the same time. But I don't want to have to do that shit for every meal I eat. I don't want that fucking world. However, what you want and what you get sometimes don't mean shit to life. So we're gonna segue from all that. Again, you know, I be doing hella recaps. Yo, pick your weapon of choice. Still have your guns for humans, but for honey, slingshot, bow and arrow. Oh, and one more thing. We're gonna go there. This is a short video. We're gonna go to this one more weapon: slingshot, bow and arrow, and
I've got two different.
This one right here is just this one. This holds a little special place in my heart because I just like this weapon. So we going to give this one its little moment of shine. The goddamn crossbow. Because you can catch your squirrel, your rabbit, your porcupine, all that shit this guy just ate with this. So slingshot, bow and arrow, crossbow. Of course, you can have your guns, but again, bullets are limited, bullets are loud, and bullets draw attention. And bullets can't be reused like arrows in the bolts from a crossbow. Facts, JM, I 100% agree. We let the government trick us out of our position. They gave us everything we need to thrive and survive, but we need them to get those things. We need their system to eat. We need their groceries. We need their logistical system. If something happens where they can't deliver stuff to us, we fucked. We don't know how to farm. We don't know how to hunt. We don't know how to skin animals. We don't know how to manipulate nature for shelter. We don't know a lot of fucking things. Not a good look as a people. All the revolutionists out there, we need a revolution. Woo! They want to scream. They want to scream about the revolution, right? And be now the man and blah blah blah. The real revolution needs to be learning and mastering and spreading these skill sets that I talk about every night to as many black people as possible. That's the real revolution. That is, even if you don't have to, knowing how to and really being really good at surviving without the systems in place. That's the real revolution. Some independence.
Different kinds of crossbows. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to load and shoot both kinds. We're going to start off with the first. I've got two different kinds of crossbows. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to load and shoot both kinds. We're going to start off with the first one here. I believe it is the most common. It's your traditional crossbow here. And with these, it's probably going to come with a rope or something like this with the handles on it. That is the tool you actually use to set it. What you don't want to do, and what you're not supposed to do, is just reach in here like the Walking Dead and just pull this thing back. One, you're not meant to do that. These are probably way stronger than you're imagining. Two, if you pull it like this, you're putting human into the equation. And if you pull one side a little farther left than the other, it's also going to be inconsistencies as you shoot it. So you really want to use the rope to set them. And if you don't have a rope, take it to a bow shop and try to get a rope, because without the rope, it's really complicated. But anyways, let's head on down here and let's set it. All right, so here's what the rope looks like. It's going to be this rope with two handles. It's going to come down. It's probably going to have hooks like this. I'm going to back up a little bit more so you can see more of what's going on. You're going to put it in there, and these usually have a foot pedal at the bottom. So go ahead and put your foot on there. That way your weight can hold it to the ground. From here, we're going to want to hang it, hold it like this, and holding the hooks where the hooks go this way. Now, usually back...
We're going to do just like we did with the bow and arrow. The cool high-tech stuff, he's struggling right now. Is cool, but that might break. That might mess up. We need to know how to make some of these things. When the shit hits, if the shit hits, we need to know how to MacGyver. If y'all not familiar with who MacGyver is, I don't know what to do for you. But he was a guy that can take little to nothing and turn that into some shit. that he can utilize. It was all about ingenuity. And that's what we're gonna need. See, right now, we're so conditioned to buying everything from everything. We just used to just buying shit to where we don't know how to fabricate, to build, to create any fucking thing. How to take some raw elements and put them together. But our fair-skinned counterparts, they still playing around, sometimes for fun, doing they caveman shit and kind of still piecing things together. And we be worrying about the wrong shit, I'm telling you. We really fucked. And I believe in basic functionality too. As you saw, he was trying to load that crossbow. It looked cool, but it was all complex. And we're gonna try to find one. I mean, look at this shit. I'm gonna show you one of these. Look, he couldn't even cock it right. Remember, he had to put it all between his legs, and it had all these wires and cords. And it looked like shit I want to fuck with. And it couldn't have been that complex in the medieval days. I want a darn near basic medieval crossbow. Fuck it. This guy finna show us how to make a crossbow from scratch. I'm gonna fuck with his crossbow over this thing we got on the screen. We're gonna let a little bit of this play and give this guy a chance. Cause I got time tonight, even though the time jump done fucked me up. But it is what it is.
Back here on the back, it's gonna have a little place for a rope to set into. You're gonna run it right there. Holding your hooks, you're just gonna bring it all the way down and then hook it into the main rope. This main rope, it's gonna have like those little rope covers on it. That way you should be able to hook that on there. You should be able to hold both of these handles like this so that you can actually have leverage. Now, before you start pulling, make sure you have your foot over the handle, because if not, you're gonna jab it right into whatever the stock is sticking into, and it's usually not a good thing. From here, just pull up evenly until it clicks. Once it clicks, pull it tight, make sure it clicks good, and we are good to go when it comes to that. From here, your crossbow is cocked. We still gotta load it with the bolt. Now, when you're shooting a crossbow, you're gonna be shooting a bolt, not the same thing as an arrow, which shoots out of a normal bow like this. The bolts are gonna have like a moon-shaped knock on the back, whereas a normal bow arrow is gonna have more like that, so a lot deeper groove, but these are kind of like just a half circle. They're generally thicker and they're generally shorter. If you're having trouble, just look on them, and hopefully they say something about a crossbow. This one don't. If you're having suspicions, here's this. Those are kind of things that can help you tell whether you're shooting a crossbow bolt or a bow arrow. From here, once you got a bow, you're gonna go odd feathered down, put it right in the groove, and then you're gonna wanna slide it straight in, all the way down until it seats down. And it should look something like that. So it's all the way back here, and the arrow or the bolt just laying right in that groove, right just like that. From here, it's just like a gun. You're gonna flip that safety onto fire, aim down sight, and pull the trigger. I'm gonna go ahead and do that with the scope. You just aim. Now with the scope, you're just gonna aim on target. And the one thing about crossbows is that they're gonna drop a lot more. The distance matters a whole lot more than a rifle. So on this one, I actually have my range set up to where I can adjust. And a lot of times these crossbow scopes will have little hashes in it. So if you look down in there, let me point it at the wall, you can see those hash marks. I've actually got them lined up that way I don't forget. But let me go ahead and shoot this and then I'll show you the other one. Nice. That one went good. Now let me show you the other one. The other crossbow is
Too much work, y'all. Jam says, if we truly all came together and really started moving in unison, our actions, our situation would improve drastically and quickly. And that is a fact. But we have too much individualism. And honestly, they got us mind fucked. We are just honestly extremely dependent on the system. And I think it's not by accident that we are so dependent on the system. It's by plan. That's a cool little crossbow and all, whatever, you buy one, whatever. But I'm more into also knowing how to make one from some basic shit you can find around in any house you raid. So let's see, like kind of like that cool bow and arrow we just saw that he made out of PVC pipe and it shot. And when you hunt a small game, you just need to shoot. You ain't got to be fucking amazing. So let's see if we can find something like that.
Oh, hey, you must be here for the normal $20 crossbow with no secrets? Yeah, that sounds pretty fun or cool or whatever. Maybe it would be like more fun if there was a secret. Oh, okay, I can't keep the secret anymore, guys. It's too good. Like, literally, guys, without this secret, your crossbow is going to be weaker to start out with. Cringe. It's going to get weaker every single time you shoot it, and worst case scenario, your limbs will snap. Like the limbs of the crossbow, not your arms and legs, maybe. And they'll come flying back and friggin' kill you. So, dang, sounds like a pretty good secret, huh? I got it right here, ready to show you. Here we go. What the? Oh, guys, the secret's inside the PVC pipe. Hold on, let me try to look real hard and see if I can see the secret in there. Nothing. It's crazy. Very frustrating. I mean, honestly, I almost feel like a hacker trying to look at someone's private information, but I can't because it's inside the secure tunnel that is NordVPN. The secret is fiberglass rods, by the way. For all those reasons that I mentioned, having it inside of the PVC, total game changer. Pretty dang good secret, huh? Can you imagine how dumb I would have looked, though? Coming out here, waving this thing in your face, but I'm like, oh, I have a secret, but please don't look at this. Oh, but I got a secret, but don't look, please. That's how silly you would look, being on the internet without a VPN and expecting no one's gonna see your private information. Just ridiculous.
Dude, get your ad out the way. Let's get to this goddamn crossbow.
A regular store-bought crossbow too. Don't. We're gonna start with the body of the crossbow. You are gonna find this hard to believe because of the expert craftsmanship, but it's actually just a 2x4. And fun fact, you don't actually need to do any of this stuff for it to be functional. It just makes it more comfortable to hold, makes it look a little more legit, but it'll work the exact same even if you don't do that. You know what? I don't normally do this, but I'm feeling a little generous. I'll give you guys a little peep of some measurements here.
You notice he said that he could have just used just that. You notice that he said he could have just used that regular board as it was. So don't forget that part. This is all for cool look. So if you ain't handy with the saw, yada yada, all that, get your little board and call it a goddamn day.
What do you think of that? Pretty good, I think. Now, look, it doesn't have to be super pretty, as long as it's comfy. And honestly, it doesn't even have to be comfy. Make it as uncomfortable as you want. That'd be kind of epic, I guess. The only thing that I definitely would recommend, this part right here, keep it a bit chunky. As you saw from the way that I was able to just cut those lines and then knock out pieces, pine is a very soft wood and it's prone to breaking along the grain. So I've made sure that there's no straight grain that's running across that's less than, say, about 2.5, 3 inches. That should be pretty sturdy. But even on top of that, after I do all the painting, I'm gonna wrap it up really good too. But that is really all you gotta do for the grip and the stock. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the front. Okay, now we're gonna drill the holes for the PVC. Oh, drill! I said no tools, man. No, I didn't. Look at the title. I said minimal tools. If your house doesn't have a drill in it, do you even have a house? I don't think I've ever seen a house without a drill. I'm pretty sure houses come with drills. Cool. You'll see that these are kind of slanted, huh? Well, this is the top of the crossbow. When you got the 2 pieces of PVC in there and they flex together, having the limbs of the crossbow bend towards the top is going to allow the string to sit way more lightly on the track. That means less friction, which means greater arrow speed. So this is a little poopy looking. I'm just gonna sand everything down real quick. I'll see you in a second. We'll get to work on the firing mechanism and the limbs. And here's your trigger mechanism, almost. First, go ahead and figure out where you want your trigger to comfortably sit. Drilled some little holes in the bottom so the epoxy can kind of flow through. And I'm gonna have this little spacer clamped in here. Just
this ain't as it's an easy, cheap, powerful PVC crossbow. The cheap part maybe, the easy part. I think this guy is confusing our. You misunderstanding our skill sets, but that's part of the problem. The part of the problem that most black people, most brothers out here, will look at what he's doing and see it as being like, what the fuck? This ain't remotely easy. That's problematic, and that's myself included. We got to get back to working with our hands more. Like JM said, we fucked. We fucked. The government tricked us out of our position. And as he said right here, it was definitely part of a bigger plan. They gave us jobs. They put us in offices. They got us doing all this shit. And it's all so that, well, we'll let y'all work and give y'all money, but you don't know how to do nothing. And you dependent on working for us and getting our money, because you don't know how to build, make nothing. You can't even build your own fucking home.
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up.
Shit wild, yo. Shit's wild. Then scary. Depressing too. Listen, y'all. Real talk. Real talk. We gonna be real right here.
Tactical nuke incoming!
My brothers and my sisters, I know we don't like to rock the boat and we comfortable with the status quo. But the way things are now isn't the way things can and have to be just 4 months from now. I will not stop repeating myself when I say this country's infrastructure is very, very fragile. It's not as robust as we might think. And it doesn't take years for shit to get bad. If you think when shit go bad, you're gonna have months and years to gather a whole bunch of time to gather up stuff and get a bunch of shit and learn a bunch of cool ass skills. If you think that's the case, you out of your goddamn mind.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
And I'm not saying take all your spare money and buy a bunch of bullshit and become super survival man and all this bullshit. But just put a little time, energy, or at the minimum, some thought. If you can't put a little money, time, and energy in it, at least put thought. Like right now, I'm putting thought into it, and the people watching, we putting thought into the possibilities and the different things that we might have to learn and know how to do. But you got some people just walking around this big do 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 dibby doobity doo do dibby doo dibby doobity doo. I'm living my life. I'm living my life. I'm going to work. I'm driving my car. Turn on my lights. Drink water out my refrigerator. Listen, just clueless, just walking around head full of air and thinking, oh, I want a man that's 6 feet, or oh, I want a girl with BBLs, or oh, you know, why these bitches don't want to do 50-50. Oh, I mean, cool, fine, and dandy and shit. But when the shit hit, that same chick you worried about want 50-50 for you will fuck with you for some goddamn possum meat. When the shit hit, motherfuckers gonna be sucking dick for squirrel meat. The same baddie dime piece that you worried about. Yo, it sounds fucked up, okay? But when the shit here, ain't nobody giving away none for free. Barely giving away shit for free now. You got that squirrel meat sizzling? It's about to go down.
I'm trying to take it a pound, 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 pound. I'm trying to lay that pussy down on the ground.
Y'all understand? If you think I'm just talking shit being wild, then that means you don't understand the nature of humans. When it comes time to survive, shit get primitive real fast. That's another thing people don't understand. They don't understand how fast shit can go bad and how fast humans will turn to fucking animals.
Oh my God.
Animals. We see just on Black Friday for bullshit TVs and other electronics, we stop seeing our fellow men and women as humans. We will push you to the ground. We will shove you out the way. We will trample over you just to get a goddamn bargain.
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up.
You can only imagine what motherfuckers gonna do for food and water. Shit. Motherfuckers gonna be out there lying, stealing, killing, plundering, and fucking for survival. That famous quote, running use on Players Club, you better use what you got to get what you want. That shit's gonna be in full fucking effect.
Oh my God.
Straight up. Survival of the fittest in full effect. Eat what you hunt. I mean, hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt in full effect. Bandits, pirates, Vikings, whatever you want to call them. That's the world we're going to be in. Hey, man, you read too many books. You watch too many movies. Oh fucking Tay. Oh, Tay. Keep thinking that. Keep fucking thinking that. Keep thinking I'm crazy, nigga. Keep thinking I'm crazy, yo.
Bruh.
Fuck around and find out. You don't fuck around and find out, B. You're gonna fuck around and find out. And sometimes when you fuck around and find out, it's no comeback. You'll find out and then just be gone. You know, it's fuck. You know, finding out don't always save your life. You just, yeah, your epiphany, and then I'm out of here. But no, you want to know before shit get to a certain points. You don't want to fuck around and find out on the back end of life. You just don't, man. But yo, yeah. There you go. Modern day dark ages, man. For some people, they're just so safe, so comfortable in this broken ass fragile system. People keep telling y'all the dollar's not going to be worth nothing. When the dollar's not worth nothing, what's going to happen? What barter system going to come back? It's the person with the most guns and the most muscles going to take your shit? Like movies like The Purge. Let me tell y'all something, y'all.
Tactical nuke incoming!
I think the powers that be, the real rulers of the world, they control media, mass media, and all that. I think oftentimes movies and shows and books and all that kind of stuff be put out to break us in easy to possibilities of things, to prepare some of us so that less people would be just frozen and stuck and fucking on stupid and shell shock winning if something happens. To just suggest, throw the hint out there to test the water so it won't be like mass fucking panic. Facts, JM. It's a forewarning of what's coming. I truly, honestly believe that. And I could be wrong. And I want to be wrong. That's the fucking thing people need to understand. The crazy shit I be saying, I hope it's just crazy shit. I don't want to have to beat up an old lady for a loaf of goddamn bread?
What the hell?
But if my family hungry, and it's one loaf of bread on that shelf, and me and that old lady reaching for it at the same time,
Fuck you, bitch. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Back the fuck up. If I knock the fuck out you.
Damn, man.
Hey.
sorry, not sorry, yo. Sorry, not sorry.
Oh, just give me my money. Just give me my money. Okay. Give me my money. Okay. Give me my money.
I got to get that bread, yo. I gotta get that loaf of bread, baby girl. I'm sorry, grandma. Give me that. You know what I'm saying? That's listen. Morality, a lot of shit gonna go out the window. And this
if a zombie outbreak
actually takes me to the next video. It says these people won't make it in the zombie apocalypse. And if y'all want to take the zombie out and add any kind of apocalyptic end of the world situation, whatever one you comfortable with, whatever one suits your sentiment well, be it economic collapse, a virus we don't shake back from, yada yada yada, all that, whatever helps you sleep at night. But like I said, people like to lose zombie because it's just a more entertaining one, whatever. But these people won't make it. Let's see what these kind of people are. Let's see if any of us are those kind of people. And let's try not to be those people. Again, you're here with Uncle B Streaming. This is Insomniac Theater. Insomniac Theater. Again, shout out to Team No Sleep. And by the way,
to super chat or donate, hit the Ko-fi link pinned to the top of the chat. Any support would be appreciated.
What's up, nieces and nephews? Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and please share.
If you want to support, hit up my Cash App at $UncB Streaming. Any donation would be greatly appreciated. Thanks in advance.
If a zombie outbreak were to happen tomorrow, a lot of people would die for reasons they don't even realize. So today, I'm breaking down who won't survive a zombie outbreak. Before we start, a quick disclaimer. This isn't about calling out specific people or pretending there's only one correct way to survive. It's about patterns, behaviors, and habits that are likely to get people killed once the world as we used to know it comes to a halt. Because in a zombie outbreak, most people don't die in some dramatic last stand. They don't go out swinging in a blaze of glory. They die because of something small, stupid, and completely avoidable. Alright, now with all that out of the way, let's hop into it. Let's kick things off with the overconfident alphas and would-be heroes. Every zombie outbreak has someone who thinks confidence is the same as competence. They rush without a plan. They ignore group strategy. They treat survival like an action movie, where instincts always win. They volunteer for reckless solo runs. They try to save everyone at once. They grab weapons they barely know how to use, and some assume courage will fill in the gaps. Unfortunately, zombies don't care about confidence, and chaos doesn't reward bravado. These people usually don't last long. And that's not because they're weak or anything. It's because they overestimate themselves and underestimate everything else around them. A lot of them will disappear early, usually after trying to prove something that never needed proving. Next on the list are people who hoard themselves into immobility. Some people respond to fear by grabbing everything in sight to pack up with them. There are even people who need to get changed and look good to go outside despite the disaster unfolding. More gear doesn't mean more survival, nor does looking good for the apocalypse. Bogging yourself down with comfort items, collectibles, and sentimental stuff, or unnecessary supplies turns you into a slow-moving target. Mobility keeps you alive, and the apocalypse doesn't care how you look when it comes knocking at your door. I actually recall a video from a little while back. It was the aftermath of a California wildfire. There was a guy recording who was supposed to be leading a convoy out of a wildfire, but a car behind him spun out and got stuck in a ditch about 100 meters in, blocking the narrow road and trapping the other vehicles behind it. So the guy recording ended up going on without them. He didn't really have much of a choice, right? So he ended up jumping into water for about 45 minutes to survive. After the fire calmed down, he went back and everyone was burnt to a crisp.
Yeah, these people all got burned out. There's dead bodies in here. They're all burned.
I bring this up because at one point, he mentioned trying to get these people out of their house, but the lady insisted on putting on her makeup, and she ultimately died for that choice.
I went to their house right here in this white car to get them out. She had to put her makeup on. She died because of it.
And not to be insensitive about it, but this lady had zero self-preservation skills if she did that. Horrible choice. Anyways, folks, pack light and take only what you need. And remember, the apocalypse doesn't care how you look when it comes knocking at your door. Up next, we have people who are out of shape, sedentary, and straight up immobile. Don't forget rule number 1 of surviving Zombieland: cardio. When the virus hits, some of the most obvious people to go will be the ones that are out of shape and immobile. During a zombie outbreak, your body is your transport. If you can't move under stress, carry weight, or cover distances without gassing out, you're at a disadvantage immediately. Picture the first week. Stairs, fences, broken sidewalks, jammed doorways, and crowds pushing past each other. Now add a backpack, a couple of bottles of water, food, weapons, and whatever else you grabbed. If walking a few blocks already drains you, you don't get to pick the safest route. And the easiest route is usually where everyone else is. Poor stamina also makes you loud. Heavy breathing, stumbling, stopping to rest, dropping gear because your arms and legs are exhausted. That noise and delay turns a close call into a bite. It also slows down the group. People will try to help at first. It's human nature. But once reality kicks in and they see zombies tearing people apart, if one person can't keep moving, the whole group will be forced to leave them behind. But let's be clear, fitness doesn't make you invincible. It just makes you a little bit less vulnerable. Next up, we have the people who just can't seem to shut their mouths. Reality is, in a zombie apocalypse, talking gets people killed. If someone in your group can't stop yapping, sooner or later...
Rooster. Goddamn King Rooster. We gonna have to take him out. Aunt Sherry, Kills. Y'all know these people. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They gonna have to go. Yeah, JM, that fire story was definitely a wild story. She died looking pretty, I guess. I don't get it. But, you know, choices were made. And that's the world we live in. Sometimes fucked up decisions can't be unfucking done.
Later, they will yap at the wrong time and pay the ultimate price. Or they may share too much information with the wrong person in an attempt to seek some kind of validation. Noise draws zombies, and sharing critical information draws desperate survivors. This type of person will pull the wrong kind of attention towards you whether you like it or not. Bragging about supplies, weapons, or base locations will eventually spread like wildfire. Even casual oversharing turns into a blueprint for someone to come in and raid you for all you're worth. Next up, we have children and elderly. Ultimately, their survival in a zombie apocalypse comes down to the people around them and a whole lot of luck. Most of the time, they don't control where they go, when they move, and what risks they take. They get carried through the apocalypse by other people's decisions, good or bad. Kids face obvious problems. They're slower, louder, and more fragile. They get tired quickly, they need food, water, and rest and reassurance at the worst possible times. They don't always understand when silence matters or why stopping for a break can get somebody killed. Even a well-behaved kid can cry, panic, or freeze when they're scared. And the dead don't care why the noise is happening. Zombies simply follow sound. The elderly run into the same kind of issues, just for different reasons. Many can't move quickly, can't climb, and can't handle long walks with a pack on their back. A fall that would be annoying in the old world can end everything in this new one. A twisted ankle, a cracked rib, or a bad knee can turn into a death sentence when there's no clean place to rest and no real way to recover. A lot of older people also rely on medication, regular meals, and stable sleep. Take that away and their health can spiral out of control even if nobody touches them. And here's the part that nobody wants to say out loud. Both kids and elderly slow a group down. and they make hiding harder. They need more time, more care, and more protection. That doesn't make them a complete liability. I'm just saying it changes the math a little bit, or a lot of it. Take your pick. If the adults in charge are calm, prepared, and willing to move early, they can keep them alive. If the adults are loud, reckless, overly trusting, or unprepared, then the most vulnerable people in the group are the first ones who pay for it. So if the people responsible for them fall into any of the categories we've already covered, or the ones coming up, then children and the elderly are starting the apocalypse at a massive disadvantage. They don't get to pick better leadership. They just get dragged along until something goes wrong. Up next, we have the people who can't control their panic. Some of the first people to die aren't weak, they're just too loud for their own good. Despite their best efforts, they fail to realize that panicking creates noise and causes people to make bad decisions. Or maybe they realize that they just can't help themselves. These people can't help but scream like banshees, freeze in place, or fire a weapon out of fear and draw attention towards you. It's in their nature. They did it in the old world and they'll do it in this one. It sucks for them, but reality is, in this new world where the dead have risen, the people who survive are the ones who slow themselves down when everything in their body is screaming to run. The people that stop to breathe, assess, and move with purpose, while everyone else spirals. They are the ones that are more likely to make it. So get your shit together. Alright, so once the overconfident and the loud people thin out, we have the people who are overly trusting. When the world collapses, trust should be tough to earn. Letting strangers straight into your shelter, believing every story you hear, and assuming desperate people are harmless and just looking for help is a surefire way to get yourself killed. People who fall into this category aren't malicious, they're just naive and hopeful. They want to believe that the person at the door is a normal human who just needs to get away from the dead. They want to believe that if they're kind, the person they're helping will be kind back. But the second you let someone inside your safe zone, you've just handed them a blueprint to your kingdom. Your layout, your supplies, your numbers, your routines, even if they leave peacefully, you've still shown them everything about your location. And don't get it twisted. Fear and scarcity change people. A zombie apocalypse isn't the type of natural disaster that brings people together. This is something we've never seen before. When resources run out, who someone used to be goes out the window. The same person who used to be polite in the old world will be a completely different person.
Said what I said, and I meant that shit. Real talk. Sorry, Miss Jackson. I am for real. Got to hit you in your eye and take that bread, but I don't hope you die. Sorry, Miss Jackson. And for real, got to take your food and your water. I'm telling you, she gonna get real, Miss Jackson. Can't do it. Cold world. Cold world.
When his wife and kids are on the verge of starvation, and you have supplies that you're unable to part with for your own well-being. So blind trust during the end of the world doesn't benefit you or your group. Next on the list are the people who rely on rules and authority. Before the collapse, there was always a process if you needed something. You call someone, you report the issue, you wait for instructions, you follow the plan. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Unfortunately, in a zombie outbreak, there is no safe process. There's just you and whatever information you can see with your own two eyes. The people in this group don't die because they trust the wrong person or get overly confident. They die because they can't make decisions without a framework. They hesitate at the exact moment where hesitation costs you the most. They second guess every move because they want certainty first. They keep looking for official orders in a world that's running on instinct, panic, and adrenaline. These people are more likely to stick to familiar routes and public spaces because those are the paths the old world trained them to use. That puts them in the same bottlenecks as everyone else. And those bottlenecks will turn into zombie feeding grounds. Up next are the unprepared, and honestly, this is probably where most people will fall into place. And this isn't because they're stupid. It's because modern life has set us up so we don't have to be ready. You can go your entire life without ever needing to store water.
This is what we've been talking about the whole night, people. These people, the unprepared, i.e. like the vast majority of the population. In the vast majority of people that look like me fall into this category of the unprepared. That's why I had to run it back. This is us. This is the black community right here, yo. And a lot of the others too. But I'm not worried about them like that, yo. We got to make it. You feel me? We got to make it.
Can't stop. Won't stop.
But this is, unfortunately, 90-some% of the black community falls in this category that they about to cover.
And those bottlenecks will turn into zombie feeding grounds. Up next are the unprepared, and honestly, this is probably where most people will fall into place. And this isn't because they're stupid. It's because modern life has set us up so we don't have to be ready. You can go your entire life without ever needing to store water, without keeping extra food, without learning basic first aid, and nothing bad happens. Until it does. This group doesn't fail for all the reasons everyone else did that came before it. They fail because they have...
That's what we covered in the next video, by the way. We know how to get water. We know how to start fires. Well, we've been exposed to how to get water. We've been exposed to how to purify water, exposed to how to start fires, exposed to how to build shelters, exposed to how to use slingshots and bow and arrows, and how to even make both. And now we've been exposed to how to prepare and cook small game after we hunted the shit. And now we're going to have to get exposed to basic first aid coming up soon.
have no safety net, no supplies to buy them time, no basic gear to make certain problems manageable, no skills that let them replace what used to be provided for free. This group of people usually isn't thinking in terms of days without power or weeks without clean tap water. They're thinking in terms of comfort and convenience. Maybe a store is closed, maybe the internet is slow, maybe they'll just wait it out. But that mental model collapses the moment small problems stop being small. They have no particular fallback, no real way to secure clean water, no experience dealing with injuries once basic hygiene disappears, no tools or knowledge on improvising shelter, heat, or basic repairs, no clue how to hunt, trap, grow their own food, or just use basic power tools for that matter. And that's okay, right? They never needed to know this shit. But unfortunately, that would run them into a little bit of trouble if the world were to come to an end. This group of people could also be wasteful. You'll see it when they start burning resources inefficiently. Food eaten without a plan, energy spent reacting instead of stabilizing. Every decision costs more because nothing is buffered. There's no margin. The thing is, the world won't collapse all at once. It peels away layer after layer. First, convenience disappears, then access, then sanitation, then small health issues start turning dangerous. The unprepared don't adapt to that slope because they never had to. Eventually, they get forced into bad positions, risky scavenging runs, and unstable shelters because they have no alternative. That's what gets them killed. Not ignorance, not denial. Just a lack of supplies, skill, and knowledge that is now demanded of them in a world where the dead are walking among us. Alright, next we have the people who let their emotions override logic. This one's about impulse control, or more accurately, the lack of it. These are the people who see red and act before they think. The ones who black out when they're angry, scared.
They talking about Jay Prince and people like him. I like to use these people's name not to hate on them, but just to give the people that know who they are a reference point in real life that they seen in action. It helps envision the mindsets a little bit better, in my opinion.
Or desperate. In the old world, that might have gotten them into a little bit of trouble. An argument, a fight, or a bad decision they could walk away from. In a zombie outbreak, that'll more than likely get them killed. They lash out when they should back off. They They chase instead of retreat. They confront instead of avoiding. Someone steals from them, insults them, or threatens their pride, and they react immediately, without weighing the costs. That reaction might feel justified, but it usually ends with noise, injury, or a situation that spirals out of control. Survival favors people who can pause, knuckle down, and think 2 steps ahead instead of giving into their emotions. If you can't control impulses when things go sideways now, then the apocalypse definitely won't be the place to learn it. Alright, now we have the lone wolves. Not just any lone wolf though, because there are people in this world who have been training for years to do this and can actually pull it off. I'm talking about the person who's never had to struggle, but is convinced they'd be fine on their own once the world ends. They picture independence as freedom. No compromises, no people slowing them down, no having to answer to anyone, just them against the zombie apocalypse. Reality doesn't work that way. Going alone sounds appealing until the first problem shows up. Without a group, there's no one watching your back while you sleep, no one standing guard when you're sick, no one to help you lift something heavy, treat an injury, or cover you when something goes wrong. And the important part here is skills. A lone survivor with real medical, mechanical, or survival experience can make it work for a while. Most people don't have those skills though. That's the reality of it. So if you think you're going to ride off into the sunset like Daryl Dixon on your own, I hate to break it to you. It's not how it's going to go. Unless you're him, then, all the power to you, but most people aren't. And finally, we have the people who think morality alone will protect them. The holier-than-thou crowd. At the end of it all, this belief finishes a lot of people off. Being good doesn't make you safe. Being cruel doesn't either, but people who assume others will act fairly just because it's right will get blindsided. Survival doesn't reward virtue. It rewards being realistic. Unfortunately, these people won't learn until reality kicks them in the teeth and forces them to see life for what it really is now. Anyhow, folks, this isn't absolutely everyone, of course, but it's what came to mind and what I wanted to talk about today's video. Ultimately, most people who won't survive the apocalypse were already doomed long before the first zombie ever showed up. Alright guys, if you made it to the end, I appreciate
type shit.
DJ K.
Come on, I'm doing shit. Fuck all that young shit. I'm cool with shit. Type shit. Activities. I'm doing shit. Fuck all that young shit. I'm cool with shit. Type shit. Activities. Posted up on the island with a bitch. They call me cause I ain't on that dumb shit. Yeah, I'm rich, but act broke with a bitch. Duval day, I really do it for the kids. Getting checks, never gotta work a job. No Viagra, dick still get hard. I can make your auntie swipe a credit card. OG in the game, realest that you ever. Aunties get down on the floor. Show these poor ass hoes how it go. Back it up like Freak Week 94. Is she under 24? It's a no. Come on, I'm doing shit. Fuck all that young shit. I'm cool with shit. Type shit. Activities.